Do 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 do. I am not sure what I want to play today. Something classic. What the heck is your people? Okay, Steam time. Hey, M1X1T up. That's a pretty tricky game to try to pronounce. Tricky game. Tricky name. Um, got any suggestions of something I should try? I quite like the idea of, I don't know, Civilization. Could try a bit of Civ. Mix it up. Oh, I get it. Mix it up. Oh, what? Nah. Nothing that takes 48 minutes to download is worth downloading. What else should we do? Design something? Play with some 3D software? Hey, McBeam, how's it going? McBeam, I'm undecided on what to do. I feel I want to do something. I just watched The Princess Bride. It's pretty cool. And I feel too energized to go chill now. I'm just looking at all these games. By the way, I got this TL8662 EEPROM programmer, which I program the Atari ST ROMs with. And I don't know where it is. It's over there somewhere. But it's pretty cool. I mean, check this out. You just literally connect it to your device, open like your high memory ROM, low memory ROM, and look at this. This is an Atari ST ROM. Actually, that's kind of fun. Let's see if we can find something in it. I'm going to start with the low memory bank ROM. And this is the debug. Anything Atari or musical? Atari's tricky. I could show you the Rev 3 circuit I've been working on for the Atari ST, but it's not too exciting. Oh yeah, look here, look here. I'm going to see there's some, looks like it is almost English. It could be a different, it looks like language strings for sure, but it doesn't look like it's in English. But I don't know if there are any, okay, something Atari ST-ish then, fine. Let's design something, shall we? Let's make this into a design stream. We're going to go design stuff. Atari ST designing stuff. I'll put that in. You convinced me, McBeam. Let's do it. Let's get Eagle up and running. More Atari ST. Going to pop this over there. I'm going to pop this over there. And I'm going to just copy from one of my projects. I'm just going to do that on one of the side windows. I'm going to create a new project now. I've got loads of Atari ST projects now. Atari ST Power Board. And I'm just going to copy my PCB. And you know what? I really screwed the pooch on that. I don't know if you saw it, McBeam, my thing about the Atari ST diagnostic cartridge, but I screwed it up something chronic. That's in today's video, by the way, if you haven't seen it. But I wanted to make a USB power adapter for the Atari ST to power all the external devices like Satan discs and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm going to make it switchable from the Atari ST though. That sounds kind of sexy, but before I do, let's just see what we're going to do. So the Atari ST power board, we're going to go jump into the schematic. It's kind of based now. That's my schematic. Let me just check my stream window is making sense. Yeah, I'm sorry by the way, no green screen right now. The cat pulled it down. Just so you know, I'm just going to show you though, there's been a lot going on in my life. And you can see from behind me here that the back office is under like massive renovation, as it were. I'm clearing it out. So I've removed a bunch of stuff. I mean, there's still a lot more there. to go. And if I'm not going to pan the camera around because it will absolutely scare you what's going on over there. But the plan, of course, is to try to make something a bit more sensible work-wise, so I can continue with all my various Atari projects and things, and actually fulfill the orders. So people do want stuff, and they're trying to order stuff, and I'm really at the I'm really hating that I have to say no. So let's get this underway. So you can see here, this is the design for the cartridge interface that I've got so far, and there's the 4 memory banks, and that's what I screwed up. So you'll obviously catch that in the video a bit later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take all of those and I'm going to delete them because they are not required in this new design. I might leave some of the noisy noise capacitors on there. We'll keep those on there for fun. And let's get that going. I'm just going to quickly rename the stream to design stream because that way we won't get Winsome Hacks. How's it going? So that is the Atari ST port, and that's where I screwed up on my PCB. I'm going to grab one so you can have a look. So there you go. That is an Atari ST cartridge, and you got the even. I don't know if you can just see that, the Atari ST logo on the back. So it's pretty awesome to have a new piece of hardware for an ST, isn't it? Okay. So let's take a look at the PCB right now, and it's going to be a total mess because we've just yoinked everything off this. We're not basing our new design on this, so that's fine. So we're just going to pull up everything. We're just going to do that. Boom. So there we go. We have a clean board. So I'm going to get rid of the ROM markings. We're not going to need those. And I'm going to keep the other stuff right now because this cheeky fellow could be useful, this capacitor. Let's bring him on over to the top. Pop that there. And I'm just going to move. You see these logos? The way Eagle handles them is a bit of a challenge. So it's always best to kind of keep them near. Don't delete them because they're always a pain to bring back in properly. And our new PCB is obviously going to have some different writing on it, but I'm going to put that up there for now. So that's good. We're ready to go here. Hey, Ash. I know I fixed it. I already fixed it, by the way. Ash, let me show you before we move on, just to show you. I did fix it. I've already done it. I already did it that very doggone night. Let me show you. Let me show you before we move on. Look, diagnostic cart version 3. Boom. I already did a board for version 3. Let me show you. Look, there you go. Look at that beast. The beast is ready. And more importantly, you'll see that when oh, you can only open one window. Where's my other window gone? Diagnostic power board. There we go. Not the power board. The board of power. And you'll see though, if the pinouts for this footprint are pretty much the same, but when I go over here, you'll see now it's 1 to 39. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense because in the old one it's obviously 1 to like 20. It's 1 to 39 because it's staggered across them. Yeah, the OE and the CS. It's if you imagine the swapping of the OE and the CS, right? It's just you're doing a double swap because you've got an issue where it's not quite right still. And I hear some breathing on the Discord. Who's in there? It's Mr. Dalton. How are you, sir? Well, what I'm going to do, I think there's a audio output capture issue. No, should be audible. Say knobs and bollocks.
knobs and willies.
Okay, you're coming through extremely loudly now, so that's good.
There we go.
Did you know that apparently bollocks is not necessarily a swear word?
Yes, it's in Richard Branson's first autobiography, Losing My Virginity, because it means originally it was vicars.
How do you mean vicars?
To,
As in
to meant, it meant bollocks meant religious figures as in vicars.
No way.
Yes, because in what happened was the Sex Pistols' first album was Never Mind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols.
Yeah.
And they got taken to court. Virgin Music did. And they hired this very notable sort of professor of the English language to explain the origins of the terms. And he explained this in the court case, and they said, "And how do you know this?" And he pulled his jumper down, and he was actually vicar as well as a professor.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I thought you were going to say something else. He like pulled his trousers down and started
No.
furiously
No, not
demonstrating
in
his
court.
religious.
No.
Oh, okay. So, just for anybody in the chat or watching the stream, I'm now placing USB footprints. But you might have noticed something about these, which is not particularly handy, is that there's no description of what those pinouts are. So I challenge anybody in the chat to tell me what pin is 5 volts and what pin is something else. Oh, Mr. Dalton, I feel I already designed a USB thing not so long ago because there was some extra trickery involved in the pins 2 and 3. If you use, do you remember like if you have a Samsung phone or an Apple phone, you had to do some
Yes.
bugger. What was that project?
I can't remember.
Hey, Craig, how's it going?
Ah, Craig. Welcome, Craig.
The Cragmeister General.
That's right.
Could you design a logo and banner for me YouTube channel? I'm like literally the worst person to ask for that. Talking to someone who has put zero effort on branding and marketing and wouldn't
I'll
know
tell you
how to
what.
start.
Cyanide. What's your channel called? Let's find out what the channel's
I'm not
called
finding a
first.
USB based project here. It's not a back office project.
Okay, it's called Cyanide. Okay. Right. I'm going to quickly put something together I'm going to do your channel logo
Oh, that's
right now.
nice.
And I'll send it over, Andrew, and we can see if they like it. So,
It's like cyanide spelt with an S,
yeah.
like how exactly how a Scion organizer isn't spelt. I feel a bit naked without my green screen. And it seems very dark as well.
Mm.
We don't have all of those optical image adjustments happening automatically here. Right, so USB is usually 5 volt. Yeah, for Ash, which is the 5 volts? Come on, we've had this issue with pins. I'm scared now. Is 4 the 5 volts or is 1? And this is here. So this is showing the socket end is suggesting that pin 1 is VCC and pin 4 is ground. So that extremely cursory glance is clearly enough. Ground. There we go. And I would normally say that this would then you just wang on plus 5 volts, but that's not what we're going to do. Well, I've done it, but that's not how we're going to leave it. Because we're going to need some sort of protections here. And oh, 4 is ground. Oh yeah, perfect. So Edwin, we got it right. What I'm going to do is, come on guys, tell me what's the name? Resettable polyfuse? I need a resettable polyfuse. Polymetrics positive temperature coefficient device. That's what I need. We need some PPTCs. That's it. PPTC. I needed to know that because I wanted to see if there's a PPTC in here. Bollocks, there's not. Please be a polyfuse in the library. No. Curse you. Well, look at the footprints for these. I mean, could we just use one of these? Damn it, I'm going to have to go on Mouser now. I'm all about the electronics right now. It's a pain.
Oh, this is going to be magical. This.
You're still designing the old logos.
Yeah, I'm nearly there. Nearly done. I've nearly done a logo for the. Wait, it's a bit of a channel banner as well, so it's going to be
Going to take at
pretty
least
good.
10 minutes. If you're doing them for free, you could do mine again. Mine lies. Mine says I'm doing daily stuff, and I haven't done anything daily for at least a year. Although
Yeah.
I'm existing daily, so
Mm.
kind of counts. So
Wait
reset.
till you see it before you want to commission me to do something.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Polyfuse, resettable fuses, PPTC.
Could I do a channel banner as well? We'll
Well, why
see.
not? In for a penny, in for a pound.
Well, I tell you, you can probably adapt this logo into a banner. To be honest, it's pretty good.
All right, Electron Ash, the RCL library, that's a good idea. How many, what should we give it, Ash, for the old current limit? 300 milliamps? I can't remember now. Now I have to open another thing. USB current requirements. Oh my gosh, you know what that song is? The Scat
I'm the
Man.
scat man.
I'm
Yes.
the Scat Man. He loved
Yep,
his scat.
he did. But not the same type of scatters is no longer acceptable. Here you go, Andrew. I'm just sending it through to you if you want to
Thank you.
share this.
So how much fusing
Massive thing.
tolerance shall we give it? If we're going to have USB 500 milliamps, Ash, are we going to give it the 550 treatment? Mr. Dalton, how are you sending that to me? Oh, yes.
On this.
That is special. How do we get this to cyanide?
Well, what you can do is just show it first, and then we can always send it another way if they'd
I
like.
like
If you just
that.
if you make that full screen, just show the image. It's wonderful.
Is that some sort of spacecraft? I
I'm not
think so.
sure. It's
And that's the energy beams coming out.
yes.
Yeah, I like that. I reckon you should do this
Click
professionally.
open original though, so it's a little bigger for everyone to see.
Oh, okay. Let's yeah,
Under the
because
picture. Yes.
sometimes you don't get the full effect, do you? Oh, well,
Yes.
it's still kind of the same size.
Let's have a look.
Oh, cyanide doesn't.
Ah,
Cyanide.
that's a good banner. That.
I reckon if you could get away with that banner, your YouTube channel's made.
Yeah.
Come on then, Electron Ash. I'm pinning all the blame on you. Are we going for 550 milliamps or 500? I think I'm going to search for both. How about that? Yeah, it's a computer mouse. That's what it was. £2? You must be joking. There we go, 30 pence. That's more like it. Little fuse. I like. Why? Little fuse. Little
Oh,
fuse.
he's saddened now.
You've sadded. You've sadded.
He's saddened. He's said he's
Saddened.
saddened.
You're a horrible, horrible individual. What I don't understand this search here because I searched for let's see, it's the hold current. What trip current, hold current. So all of these seem to be rated right. I'm gonna have to bring up a data sheet, guys. I know that's exciting and you live for the data sheets, but yeah, it's just going to be external USB device, Ash, like your mobile phone, your Ultra Saton, your whatever other gadgets you've passed into your Atari ST. Sorry, my tongue went extremely fat then.
So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this Kickstarter related. It's not anything major, but it's of devices. So on Facebook, as you know, you get the usual nonsense stuff appearing on Facebook. This is someone advertising a crowdfunding product that says never pay for photo storage again. Stop paying for high-priced cloud storage. Get this instead.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a USB plug with an SD card port on it.
A USB plug with an SD card port on it.
Yes, as well. So you put an SD card into this plug, and when you plug your phone into it to charge it, as it passes through, your phone can use their proprietary software to back up to the SD card, your photos to the SD card in the plug.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And they're saying it's a viable alternative to cloud storage. And it's better than using cloud storage.
It's better.
Yes.
It sounds like a really good way of just losing your
Data.
data. Can I show you
Yeah.
something? I've got something in a box that might be interesting to you.
I'll have a look.
Have a look in my box, my lovely box. It's warm and it's got stuff
So,
in.
question to chat. What do you think of this idea of a plug that backs up your data rather than sending it to enterprise class, highly available? So, oh, that's very nice.
Now I haven't opened it yet, so it's still sealed. But yes, I shall soon be taking care of my public keys properly and not creating new ones every single time I forget my old ones.
Very nice.
So Ash, I'm going to put the polyfuse in line with the power supply, methinks. What was that thing? Would you remember as a kid there was something called like 5 Kids and It or something?
5 Children in It.
Yeah.
And it's actually not. It's actually an old story. It's part of. It's part of a series that had 5 children in it. It was the Phoenix and the Carpet. Was another one, and then the Return of the Samiad. It was a series of books.
I remember that Samiad thing because that was a kind of.
Well, it was the Samiad.
Didn't he like come out the sand and he's like, "Oi!"
That's right. He was a sand fairy. Yep, Samiad was a sand fairy.
Lee Collins says he loved that show.
That's right.
It. So PTC's around. Ash, I'm just thinking of putting the full-blown through-hole component. So I think we're all right, aren't we?
There we go.
What was
there
the
was
other...
actually a,
Go ahead.
There was actually a film version of 5 Children in It as well.
I remember distinctly at Christmas time. They always it was one of those Christmas things, I think. And do you remember one called
The Box of
Box of
Delights?
Delights? Yeah,
I've got it on. I have it on DVD, and you'll find it in its entirety in that place where you see things.
I'm going to go and watch that because I don't really remember it, but I distinctly remember it existing, but I don't remember anything.
It's very
about
good.
it.
It's quite creepy, but some of the effects are a little Argos.
Right, I'm going to do a quiz. Andrew, we should be doing these quizzes more often. But to be fair, we haven't streamed for like a million years. But okay, I'm gonna act out something, and only the people in the chat are allowed to say what it is, to guess. Okay. Now pretend I'm all dark, not like blacked up, just silhouetted. You're not allowed to be blacked up anymore. Although when we were kids, that was quite popular on the TV. So right, ready?
That's right.
That's it. So that's enough. I think anybody who was around anybody who there you go. I was gonna say anybody who knows the answer knows the answer immediately.
That's right. Do you remember the Royal Jelly episode?
No, I don't. Custado, Flipper. They call him Flipper.
Gentle.
He had that thing that he wanked off under the water that made a flipper sound.
Gentle Ben.
Gentle Ben. What was that thing then? Tell me about the Royal Jelly episode. That sounds.
So it's about this guy. It's about this guy who owns a like a bee farm thing, and he starts taking royal jelly, and he starts to turn into a bee, but then he's been giving it to his baby, and at the end, his baby's turning into like this giant bee. Mysterious Cities of Gold had a great theme tune, but what's really cool about Mysterious Cities of Gold is after the original series in France, they've made a couple of continuation series that are very much in the same style and pick up the story with exactly the same characters as the original series, and it's got the same theme song as well. Look for it on YouTube. I'm just going through the chat's questions.
I'm getting confused because my mouse cursor is the same color as the background. Children of the sun, see your time has just begun.
That's it. And they did a follow-on of it, even though the logistics, I suppose, of the golden condor flying basically a giant ship made of solid gold that A was able to support itself structurally and fly.
Michael is scared. Michael's very scared. Be scared. It's happening.
So Lee Collins, do you also remember the theme tune to Willy Fogg?
Hey, now the story must go on, cause another time
The time has gone.
we must be
Must
ready.
be ready.
Everybody remembers that.
That's right. And Ulysses, which was very creepy.
How did it go? Something like, Ulysses, you defy the gods. And then it's like some
That's right.
beat starts coming in. I was
Yeah, that
watching
was proper creepy.
Interstellar. Is it Interstellar 5555? The Daft Punk album anime music video that lasts like a whole hour. That, if you haven't seen it and you're like the Japanese animation, you've got to watch it because that was animated by famous Japanese animator. And no, I was just going to make up a Japanese name, and I sort of realised that that is probably a racist thing to do.
Oh, yeah,
But
don't do that. So,
go ahead.
Ash saying Big Bertha. Do you mean Bertha, voiced by Roy Kinnear, that looked very much like Postman Pat? Jason the Wheeled Warriors only had one series. It was supposed to have two, so the conclusion of the magic route with his father never happened. The theme song to that was written by Haim Saban and Shuki Levy, who originally Saban created Power Rangers. And Sport Billy, yes, I do remember Lee Collins. Look at that, see? I can take the pop culture trivia.
I thought
Yes,
Roy Kinnear's dead. Are you
yeah,
sure?
Roy Kinnear. Yeah, Roy Kinnear died after falling off a horse filming The Four Musketeers, and the Solkinds was sued over it. Improper safety on set.
Oh.
Starfleet. Yes, I do. I've got Starfleet on DVD, Lee, and it was full title is Starfleet X Bomber, where Hero, Barry Lee, and someone else. No, Barry Hercules and John Lee had three small craft that came out of the X Bomber and combined to form Die X, which was a big red robot. Theme song for the show was Starfleet, originally done by Paul Bliss of the Moody Blues, covered later by Brian May because he liked it so much. And it was an unusual puppet series in that, unlike the Super Mario Nation, because a lot of people think it's a Jerry Anderson series, it was actually made in Japan, and the puppets were different in that they were not from supports from above. They were actually on rods from the bottom, and they were like on poles. The puppets would move, and there was to be a second series, but the storage unit where the puppets were kept had a fire, and then
Yeah.
it became no longer economically viable to make a second series.
Oh. Ooh. Such
There we go.
facts.
Yes, Brian May's cover was fantastically,
I'm
with Cozy Powell and Eddie Van Halen played on it.
sorry, just a quick technical note to the chat.
Sorry,
I'm
guys.
thinking we need to lose one of these ports. I'm not really comfortable in doing double height ports because I don't think we need 6 ports on an ST, but I think 3 USBs enough. That's going to be my thing. I'm just going to knock one off. There we
Who
go.
doesn't love old 80s TV shows we watched as kids? And I remember all of those shows, Ash, Pole Position, which only had 13 episodes.
Pole
Inspector Gadget.
position. Do you remember
Yeah.
Jason the Wheeled Warriors? How
Yeah,
did
we
that
spoke about that earlier,
How did
yes.
that go? How did that go? Hang on. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Let me think. Let me
Mm-hmm.
think. It had a kicking ass. It was a good song though, right? Am I getting it right?
Yeah, it was a good song.
Um, Jason the Wild Warrior. I'm sorry. I'm thinking in my head. Was it the one that did it? Was it called like Keep on Rolling or something?
I'm not going to sing it, but
Was it like Keep on Rolling?
that's it.
We're rolling all the way. Something like that.
Not far off. I would suggest we'll play some of it, but I don't know if it's yeah. It might be it might result in the stream suddenly disappearing.
Pixel, I think you'd like this because this is hardware being designed for a retro thing. We could do an Amiga one next, couldn't we? If we wanted to support the enemy. Now I'm thinking this would need a mounting hole if we want to make a 3D printed case, because there's always you guys out there who like to clip a case over something, and it is nice to have a little wee hole to
It was
Go ahead.
Sorry, Nigel. It was actually Master Mate in Captain Pugwash.
Oh, it wasn't
Mask.
Master Bait.
No, Master Mate.
Oh.
Lee Collins says Mask Mobile Armored Strike Command Mac Tracker versus Miles Mayhem.
Who was your favourite
And
Centurion?
oh, Jake Rockwell.
Jake Rockwell.
I was mad for Centurions.
I like you had the green one, the blue one, and
no one liked Max Ray.
Was he
one
the
liked
green
Max
one?
Ray. Yeah, no one liked him.
No, I like Max Ray. Yeah.
No, he was the one. He was the one I always left on the shelves.
Was he really? They
Everyone,
didn't like him as a toy.
Everyone wanted number one choice was always Ace McLeod. Everyone wanted to be the blue flying one.
Ace McLeod, what a name!
Ace McLeod, Max Ray, and Jake Rockwell. Jake was my favorite because Jake had the most assault weapon systems for his exoframe of all of them. He had 4, and they only had 3 the rest of them until later on in the series.
Which way do you think this logo should be, Mr. Dalton? Pointing this way, or pointing that away?
I like it so that it's legible. Where does this plug into the ST?
On the left-hand side, so it could be almost legible if you have it this way and you'd see it and it says Atari ST on it.
Yeah, do that then.
So that's where I think that's going to go. Boom. Yeah, I think I thought they were a good toy. That they're almost as
Centurions
good as
were very good. Oh, Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light.
With magical powers, they fight.
Yeah. And I actually very sadly remember most of the. I actually sadly remember most of the incantations for the staffs.
Oh really? I don't remember any of those at
all. 3 suns aligned, pull forth their might and fill the archer's bow with might. By what creeps, what crawls, and what does not, let all that grows recede and rot. It's 2 of them.
Ooh.
See, I remember.
I'm very
Mask Nigel, do you mean Rhino Rig or Volcano? Rhino Rig was the rig truck that had a little buggy that came off the back and turned into a mobile base. Volcano was the monster truck. Michael's saying, let's talk about American shows. Okay, well, these are American kids shows.
What you mean it's like the traditional ones, like Knight Rider and Baywatch, so everybody. Though, do you remember though, Baywatch was actually quite late for us. We'd have been teens or something like that stage.
Baywatch was about 92, I think. There was a follow-up series to Baywatch that was 89 Baywatch actually started.
Baywatch Nights, wasn't it?
Baywatch Nights, which was very strange because it was like an X-Files sci-fi cross with David Hasselhoff in it as a lifeguard who had a detective agency at night.
It sounds could happen.
Yes, Mask was American, not Michael. So was Transformers, so was Jason the Wheeled Warriors. All these shows came from America. But Baywatch originally was on one channel. It got cancelled. That's why I think that's where I think the confusion comes. You see, because it originally was on NBC as a proper, in America they got the networks and they got syndication like the cable channels.
Yeah.
It was originally like an NBC main network show. It got cancelled on there and then revived into a syndication show.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And Ash liked Sequest and Babylon 5 because they used Lightwave on the Amiga, but Sequest was weird. I just didn't get on with Babylon 5.
I think that I don't know. I kind of watched Babylon 5, but it was like because Star Trek weren't on. Do you know what I mean? It was just to kind of keep you going.
DSV tried to be next generation in a submarine.
And it even had its own Wesley and stuff, didn't it?
It did have its own Wesley, but it didn't have any pikey Irish feet washing.
That's why it really didn't catch on.
Exactly.
To be sure, wash my feet, Riker.
That's it. That's exactly it. I mean, who here in the chat is hoping that when the new Picard series starts, there's at least 3 episodes of the first season dedicated to Irish feet washing?
Oh, well, I think clearly everybody. I mean, that's a non-question, isn't it?
Yeah, Ash. Okay, let's be a bit more sensible because this is quite sad. Yeah, Jonathan Brandis, who was the Wesley of Sequest, took his life a few years ago. It was very sad, actually. He was in Ash. He was in Neverending Story 2, where he took over the role of Bastian. He basically, his career, acting roles dried up, etc., and he took his own life. So it's very sad that Hollywood chewed him up, and he just felt he had no purpose.
Did was that? It wasn't because of Sequest though, right?
It was just generally Sequest had pigeonholed him into the Wesley Crusher type, into the quick save Wesley Crusher, basically.
I think,
And his career just ended up being nothing because he was just getting awful roles.
isn't it weird because like Will Wheaton,
Will Wheaton,
he pretty much was the same thing, isn't it?
to be fair to Will Wheaton, he wrote a very nice piece talking about being in a similar situation to Jonathan Brandis
Mm.
and about the strains it puts on life and whatever. Yeah, Ash is saying he's worried about Jake Lloyd from episode 1. He was who played the young Anakin Skywalker in episode 1, and he was also the son in Jingle All the Way with Arnie. And he's saying he didn't get a good deal out of the whole thing, and he didn't. He's basically had a breakdown, but he is getting proper help now. Jake Lloyd, he's had a proper psychiatric breakdown. It's really sad. Another one the other day that it looks like it's going to be a heartbreaking documentary to watch is Joey Kramer, child actor. He was quite popular. He was in a film I think you've seen. I don't know. Have you seen Runaway, Andrew?
Oh, I
If
love
not,
Runaway.
he's the son in Runaway. He was also in Daryl, and he's also the kid in Flight of the Navigator.
Mm.
And very, very sad about him. He basically ended up going off the rails, and he ended up robbing a bank, being a drug addict. He's got kids he doesn't see. And there's a documentary we made at the moment called Life After the Navigator, and it shows him after he came out of prison. That's right, Joey Kramer, yeah, from Runaway with Tom Selleck. And it shows him living like in a halfway house, like a community home where they help rehabilitate people who've been on drugs, coming out of prison, trying to rebuild their lives. And it shows him living literally, it's almost like in a dorm type situation he's living at the moment. And like before he goes to his therapy, he's been taken for his methadone in the morning. It's quite sad.
What? Yeah, that does have, it's sorry, I'm quite yeah,
That's right.
sad, isn't it? It's quite sad, really.
Yeah, it is. It's sad about what happens with. There is actually a charity in America to deal with supporting ex-child actors.
And you'd think that's what I always say to people, because they always have I want money, I want this, I want that. And it's like, if money could buy you happiness, everyone in Hollywood would be happy.
Yeah.
It clearly isn't. Guys, what shall I call this gadget? I've temporarily put it in as STUSB rather unimaginatively, but I'm willing to hear your suggestions and potentially change this. So I'm going to put that there for now. It's a shame in Eagle you can't rotate the whole board in any. Well, I suppose you can. Let's just try it. Do do do. Take my breath
Lee, your kids have
away.
been brought up with 80s classics. Well, you wouldn't happen to be. You say Lee Collins. You're not Justin Lee Collins, are you? That would be amazing. On Custado, you think his children have? Well, that's quite interesting.
Collins get done or something?
Well, he had his own issues, and he's got himself sorted now. But he was just in a toxic situation, and he was in a toxic situation, but he's sorted himself out now.
Oh, there you go. It happens, doesn't it?
But Custado, what you're saying there is, do you think these children have to be protected about these kind of things? It's very interesting because the film producer and writer Chris Columbus, who wrote, not Christopher Columbus, he was the one who produced and wrote things like Home Alone, notably, and Uncle Buck, and the first two Harry Potter films he was pretty much in charge of. He put provisions in place for the kids. That's it. Mrs. Doubtfire is another one of his, but he put provision in place for the kids in the Harry Potter films to keep them grounded, to prevent them going down the path Macaulay Culkin went down,
Wow.
learning from the mistakes of Macaulay.
How do I add a bend? I'm going to try this.
Apologies, Lee, if we insulted you there. It's just that the name's very, very similar.
Boom. I think he's all right. He doesn't mind. It's some gentle joshing.
Exactly.
By the way, I think we should steer the conversation. I like to always steer the conversation to one of my favourite topics. And I was watching a film just now.
What film was that?
It stars, it features swashbuckling.
Oh,
It's
you're watching
features.
Princess Bride.
It's right. That's my favourite film that features both Columbo guy and the Wonder Years guy. So
Fred Savage.
Fred Savage, and is it Peter Falk? I want to say
Peter Falk, yeah, played Columbo.
I mean, he must have been dead a while now. He's not alive anymore, is he, Peter Falk?
He's not alive anymore, but interestingly,
They're thinking about reanimating him. I mean,
no. In the series of Columbo, he always referred to Mrs. Columbo, who you never saw.
Like Mrs. Mannering in Dad's Army.
Exactly. No, I think eventually you did see Mrs. Mannering in one episode, but there was Mrs. Columbo who was never seen.
Right.
And they actually made a spin-off of Mrs. Columbo where you never actually saw Columbo.
Oh, okay. And she's always bitching about a scraggly
But
man.
and she was a housewife who basically did a bit of crime solving.
That sounds
But
interesting.
she was played by Kate Mulgrew of Captain Janeway fame.
No way! Can you get a picture?
Yes.
We need a picture. We need a picture, I think.
And what happened eventually was because they realised they didn't work out as a couple because of the age gap and everything. Eventually, the connection of her being married to Columbo the detective was kind of dropped.
I got you.
Yes, Kate Mulgrew was in Remo Williams.
Who's Remo Williams?
Remo, Unarmed and Dangerous.
So what movie was quite racist, Electron?
Remo, Unarmed and Dangerous, because it featured the father of Joel Grey. His name is. He's an American Caucasian actor. Joel Grey, and he's the father of Jennifer Grey, who was in Dirty Dancing. He played a Korean martial arts master in basically yellow face.
Okay.
Really, really heavy yellow face.
It's weird that, isn't it? There was a lot of that, right, when we were kids, just normal movies, and we're just totally like, that's normal.
Yeah, it was a different time, but
I was listening. There was a tape here of. Do you remember Big Break? That telly show, Big Break.
Yes.
What's the name of him? Oh, Jim Davidson.
Oh, he's a nasty piece of work.
And yeah, when you listen to it now, you're like, you do this little, you know what I mean? It's so, it's really weird. I class him. You've heard of like Roy Chubby Brown, right?
Yes.
I think Roy Chubby Brown is a far more pleasant a character than Jim
Yes.
Davidson. Even though
Jim
their material is very kind of similar, I always felt that Roy Chubby Brown was kind of taking the piss, whereas Jim probably believed in it. I could be wrong.
No, Jim Davidson's just a nasty, nasty piece of work. He's known for being everything Istonic.
Right. I'm gonna move those ground. I don't like it when you have pins being connected like in the middle here. I should put a no-go zone thing here so it won't root there, because I always imagine there's going to be a plastic feature in the socket that's going to rip up that track. So I don't like it. So I don't like that. Go ahead.
David says Roy Shelby Brown was self-aware, and you were laughing at him. Davidson, you would think he was laughing at other people, but yeah, Ash's right. Jim Davidson does seem to believe what he says. There's a really awful clip of him on YouTube if you hunt from when he appeared on Hell's Kitchen, insulting the sexuality of Brian Dowling.
I don't know who he is, but
He's a
pleasant.
he's a gay TV presenter, basically, and he's being incredibly homophobic.
Oh dearie me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dearie me. I'm just going to do this manually, guys. Don't look. It's rude.
Seems US audiences are not ready for foreign leads yet. Well, they're British. They take British people in America. They love them. Yeah, Brian was in Big Brother. He became a sort of TV presenter, didn't he? Afterwards.
What happened to that guy? Do you remember there was a guy of E17 who ran over his own leg?
Oh, now then, yeah, no, not over his own leg. He ran over his own body with his car because he ate 3 baked potatoes.
I love that. You were correcting me for running over his own leg because he ran over his own body. Actually, I think
Yes,
you were right to call me on that one.
I kind of understand how he did it, but he was an absolute. You mean Brian Harvey from East 17?
I keep,
Um,
yeah, because I was thinking in my head Brian Harvey Badger, but that's because I
yeah,
watched too much.
Brian Harvey allegedly he had eaten 3 baked potatoes and filled with tuna, and was so full he lent out his car to be sick, but it was an automatic Mercedes. So when he lent out, he hadn't got his seatbelt on to be sick. He left it in drive, so it was creeping forward, so it was pulling under its own tick over,
Yeah.
and he fell out under the car that way, being sick with it in gear.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Who's the guy driving around a van full of dead badgers? What?
Dead badgers. I don't know. That doesn't ring any bells, to be honest with
But
you.
David McIntyre. Oh, he's in. Right. Okay. It's Kelly Brooks' muscular ex-boyfriend crashing a van full of dead badgers into a bus stop while working as a driver in government Cull.
Weird.
That's strange.
Now, anyone watching the what I've been up to, because I've been trying to put fatter tracks down by changing the classes for the net list thing, you'll notice there's actually a weird little bug in Eagle that I've just invoked where it's undone like 5 steps back. So be cautious. It does do that, and it does do that in the latest version as well. I've been getting that a lot recently because I've been using whatever key combination causes it to do that. So be careful.
What I would say about Brian Harvey is if you look him up on YouTube, he is having a public meltdown. He's got his own problems.
What?
He is literally having a proper psychotic meltdown with paranoia.
Really?
Yeah. He's having a proper meltdown.
Ah! See, guys, watch. Do you see what happened there? Yeah, I fixed all that up, and look, do you see how it's just literally done something weird? Freaking thing. Anyway, it's all right. It's when you've gone a massive PCB and it did that. It did that a few times to me. I'm going to blame that for my EEPROM issue on the last thing. Oh, quick one. I was playing Civilization. Is there any Civilization players here? Did you ever play that, Andrew? Was it a bit too
Not really.
cerebral?
Not for me. I was more Megalomania.
Oh, it's similar-ish, isn't it? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
I forgot how intense a game it is. Because you wouldn't think it's going to be intense, but it is, even though it's just a sort of tabletop thing. Come
It's
on.
an interest. It was an important game.
Brian
But
Harvey Badger.
no, but if you go on YouTube, Brian Harvey's got videos about the police trying to kill him and stuff. He literally has turned into one of those people who he's almost a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, you just remind me of something that sounds amazing. What's going on with the Roswell people? Are they actually going to do it, do you think?
Oh, you mean where they're going to raid Area 51?
Yes, I think that's
Um,
hilarious.
I don't know, and if they do, it says well, it says they're going to do it, but ultimately people could die because it is an American military facility.
Now look, this is what I want to show you guys. I'm scared to hit undo. I'm going to hit save because if I hit undo, I feel it's going to just undo everything. Let's see what it does.
I
No, it's okay.
I'm thinking a lot of people have said they're going to. I'm not sure about that, Yuri, but I think that the people are saying they're going to storm Roswell. It's a lot of people who are just basically just doing something for a bit of a laugh. And if they do, people probably will end up dead. I don't really believe it's an alien investigation place, but I certainly believe it's a classified facility for maybe prototype aircraft development and testing.
I think you're right there, really.
And the government will not want, people.
I read something. I say read, listened to on Audible. Um, what was it called? It's by the physicist. I can't remember his first name. Something Feynman. And I think that's interesting to listen to because he was, the Manhattan Project and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
He was involved in all of that at the time when all of that started, and he describes all of the bases and all the stuff they used to get up to, and that to me sounds very much what like Area 51 probably is.
Yeah, it's a classified research and development site. That's that's basically what it is. And I think the people saying, I think the whole thing where people saying like UFOs going to Area 51 is, I think, more likely it's because they've always had experimental aircraft there.
Like stealth bombers and whatnot.
Well, stealth bombers, that kind of thing. I mean, if you consider that, if you consider like prototypes of some of the stealth bombers and things in the late 70s were maybe being flown from there, they would, compared to the planes of the era, they would damn well look like, like UFOs, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, definitely. Ash, I've got a thought here, and I've noticed in the chat just Megalomania's popped up, so I'm wondering if the chat is delayed. The video stream is delayed by somewhat few things. Oh, so yeah, no, Electron Ash has some things about the Challenger BBC drama where Feynman worked on the Challenger investigation. Oh, that
Oh
sounds
yes,
interesting.
that
Richard,
that is available in that place. I added it recently, actually,
that's it.
Andrew.
Richard, his name is Richard Feynman. And the thing what's interesting about Richard
Yeah.
Feynman, because if you look at a video of him on YouTube, you
Mm.
giving a lecture or something, he sounds incredible. How do you think he
But
would
he was
sound?
well. What's interesting is when he was. All right, I'll tell you about tripods in a minute, Mike, if you remind me. The Richard, who was the Richard Feynman, who was the helping investigate the Challenger disaster, he was actually riddled with cancer and was dying while he was doing the investigation.
Wow. Well, he sounds like Danny DeVito or something when you hear
Mm,
him talking. Like he doesn't sound like what you would think a world-renowned nuclear physicist would sound like.
yeah. So, quickly, just to answer the question for chat about the tripods. So, the tripods, there were 3 books originally of the tripods, and forgive me, I just have to get the names of the books. There was one was City of, what was it? The White Mountains, the City of Golden Lead, and the Pool of Fire. Each one would have been the first. Each one would have been a series of the tripods. And the first series, The White Mountains, was made by the BBC. It was very good. Second series was made, but then the BBC dropped it. And the third series, which would have had the Liberation, which would have been the Pool of Fire, was never actually made into a TV show. Years later, a 4th book for the tripods was written, called When the Tripods Came, which actually details the arrival of the tripods before the whole series.
Well, there you go.
Mm.
I was just in the chat writing that I was considering using the chip select or maybe the memory address lines on the cartridge port to allow you to turn the USB ports on and off at will. But we seem to be deciding against it. Ash, I don't know actually. Why would you need some hefty MOSFETs? I don't think you'd need too much. You're not going to really get any. Just a couple of, like a Darlington would be all right, wouldn't it? You're not going to expect. There's no back EMF. There's nothing going to be on this. You've got 5-volt input. Hefty 5-volt TTL input from the cartridge port. That would be plenty enough to hit that bass hard. I don't know. I wouldn't even. I'm lazy, Ash. I would just put some tip 121. No, tip 121s would be massive on this. Yes. It's like 500 milliamps, Nigel. The on resistance of new effects is so low, it'll probably be fine. I'm just wondering though, Ash. The one thing that puts me off doing that is that I don't really know anything that this port does. Remember, this board was going to be my whole window to what the Atari ST does, and I've got sub modules of here with going to put LEDs on and different I/O, and because this board's shafted, I can't experiment on the port right now. And without sifting through like even the documentation from the operating system to see how does it poll this port, what does it do with it, I don't really know. So if I put this wire this up, you can be guaranteed we're going to turn it on, and these USB ports are going to be going on and off at random or going off at the wrong time, which is like if you're using it to power your Ultra Satan or something, your Satan disk or external Gotek or something, you definitely don't want it powering off at boot up and stuff like that. So Verdi, yes, I'm definitely going to use it to charge my phone because I always want a phone charging capability on any computer I'm using, regardless of the age. So yeah, you got that. So yeah, I don't know. Should we save the on-off? We'll save the on-offedness of this. What I will do though,
Is
guys,
that a correct term?
on-offedness, yeah, that's definitely a
Yes.
correct term. And what I'll make you a promise. If more than 20 people buy these, and remember now, my costs on this are already like hundreds of pounds because of all of the crap I had to buy to build these frigging boards, and I've totaled a batch of 20 PCBs. So at least if 20 people buy the next batch, I can use up my bill of materials. I will design a device that will fit in the spare ROM banks, and I guess these could be spare too if you're not using the diagnostic ROMs, so that we can actually have user controllable USB ports on there. And maybe I might do an ESP12 module. I'm just looking around to see if I can find one lying around, which I don't. Or maybe also Booby Cortex so that you could have an ARM core sitting on there. That's my hope. My hope is going to be there. So if you're gonna power it, then FET it. If you're gonna power it, then you better put a FET on it.
Oh dear. Lee Collins is eating a Twinkie. I don't like them.
They're not that nice, are they? Really?
They're just sweet.
Oh gosh, no.
Not a lot of taste to them.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm sitting here, guys. I don't know if you ever felt this. I was training for a running event, which I did like several weeks ago. And ever since then, I've not done any exercise. I've not stopped eating because it's so hot and horrible, isn't it? You just want to eat magnums all day. So I do. But I'm almost at that point now where I'm sitting here and my rolls are hanging over my shorts. And you get to the point where you have this massive frustration. You get really angry and you start getting annoyed at yourself. And then you go out and do some exercise. But don't worry, I'm not quite there yet. Maybe another 2 weeks. Electronash only runs when chased. Yeah, that's sensible.
I've just, for some reason, my Facebook history posts have come up, and I found a joke I posted on there 7 years ago, and it's quite a good one actually. I suspect that Edward Scissorhands experimenting with masturbation was a phase he got out of very quickly.
Quite good.
Yeah,
Uh,
see?
I just noticed something on this board, by the way. I was going to fix something that I screwed up on my other designs where I didn't tent the vias. And that is something I need to go back on this. I know I said I did a revision free, but you can see these vias are very much untented, um, which might be okay for experimenters, to be fair. But I was looking at this board and thinking I don't have to do it because there isn't any. But then I looked here. Look, there's one little bastard one sitting right there. Hello, look at me. Um, and I'm trying to think, do I need to throw some vias in here to really get those ground planes hooked up, locked in because of the current? But I don't know. Look at the traces I've used. I think we're going to be okay. We've got 1 mm traces here, and I think we're going to be all right. I want to see if I can get rid of this via though. How do you do that? Do 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 do.
So I'm going to ask, who in the chat will be attending Blackpool in October for Play Expo Blackpool? I'm sure Costado will be there.
Costado will definitely be there. There we go. 0 vias. I like it. I like it. It's the first board I've made with 0 vias in probably 20 years. You
And
could
the question
almost
is,
go ahead,
go
Andrew.
on. Sorry. And before people answer, I think, Andrew, we need to speak about your fabulous prize.
Oh, yes, we do. Where is that? Oh, it's in this box. My box of tricks, my box of pricks. There we go. It's really hard to see actually because of do I have a full screen camera thing set up in OBS? I keep doing a whole. I've got so many profiles now that. Well, that's kind.
That's, that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. But the Crankies is, yes. Oh, but hang on. Apparently you've killed the sound doing that. Maybe you need to switch back.
Okay, there we go. Have we got sound again? Uh, so I was whispering sweet nothings at you guys, but what I was saying was, if you missed it, it's become a tradition. I've done it once before, so it's clearly a regular tradition now, of making a lovely, lovely collage for the a Play Expo. And the last one was, gosh, what was her name?
Pat Butcher, Pam
Pat
St. Clement.
Pam St. Clement, and it was beautiful, and it was one
It was special.
by the Retro Laird. Although he hasn't really mentioned it or shown it since, so I think he might have binned it, which is sad if he did. Um, but this one's going to be, yeah, the Crankies. And what's weird is, yeah, Ernest from Airwolf.
I have a signed photo of Mr. T somewhere.
Do you? Well,
Yeah.
what I'm wondering is, though, what would people do to win the Crankies one?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, well, in the Norbrook, I guess, be a swinger.
Oh, be a lovely, lovely swinger. So
Yes.
get naked in front of me, perhaps, and say, "Would you like some?" in some northern accent. And I presume they were northern. To be fair,
They were Scottish.
well, that's pretty much as north as you can get, really.
Yeah, but it's not
Uh,
exactly a northern accent, is it?
the deep north. Um,
Aye.
aye, lad, aye, laddie. Where's me sporran and me clackadack? Um,
Okay.
These pins look wrong, don't they? Ash, look at these pins. Do they not look wrong to you? Because um, you've got 4 pins in the USB, yeah, mechanically. I wouldn't expect you to tap off 2 end pins by having 2 vertically adjacent pins here. I'm very, very worried at this point. I might need to get the part number for the Berg Electronics thing, and let's see what they actually have done with that stupid thing from the data sheet. Oh, it's got a Farnell part number? No, it does not. Berg. They were meant to be like, if you read their thing though, Andrew, they were like extreme swingers, weren't they? Like
Oh, they were. They were
proper.
proper swingers.
They loved it.
They were well into their swing-tasticness.
Oh, what the hell? That better not be what I've put down. Oh, I'm gonna be so angry. Oh, if that's a type A. That's what you want. Look at that, a double stack. Has that got the same part number? Please don't have the same part number. Oh, crikey, we're in trouble, guys, if all these things have the same sort of part number. Come on. That's your fault, Ash, somehow. I don't think it has a PN on it. Oh, cock and balls. I'm doing so many things wrong, like a rank amateur. Right, let's start again. Let's find a USB port. Right, so it's given us a few options in this library. Let's see. Hold that there. Oh, I bet. Look, you see this one's got solder tags on it? I bet that's a better one. A 61729. Oh, that is a 61729. Maybe that's it. An 87520 is what we want. Let's try that. 87520. No, 87520. Come on, come on. Hit me. USB. Yes. Fui. Tee Shamon. Motherfucker. 87520. I'm just going to pop that there for reference, and I'm going to do a part swap. See if that'll work. Okay. I don't know if it has. Let's see. Does it change anything? Oh, yes, it has. Oh, and they're really bunched up now. Not to worry.
So David says Jim Davidson went bankrupt in 2006. I'm sure he did.
How do people go bankrupt, by the way? Because, you know,
They
like, I
don't
read about these
pay their
millionaires.
They don't pay the tax bills.
They're like, do they have all these dodgy accountants to do all these dodgy schemes and stuff, and then eventually
Yeah.
the government retrospectively says, no, actually, that was dodgy, all that was taxed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right, so I've obviously cocked this up a wee bit, laddie.
The businesses, most entertainers are, but they don't pay their VAT or their tax or their income tax because they offset it and pay it like quarterly or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Or yearly, and they just don't end up paying it. Yeah, gambling, not paying. Yeah.
I read about all of these people who win the lottery and stuff and just completely make shit investments, and they win like $30 million, and then they're broke within like 10 years or something, and you're like, wow, how do you even do that?
So I'm going to talk to you now about something we've spoken about on your streams before, and it's something I know gets your back up a bit.
Okay.
Non-repairable consumer products.
It's annoying.
Yes. Apparently your mic's gone quite quiet. Maybe you want to turn your mic.
Quiet. Oh, okay. Let's up the mic. Let's up the mic. Psych. How's that?
Yes. So I'm going to speak now about something I've been dealing with at home. We've got something my wife bought a couple of years ago.
Is it a specialist appliance?
Not really. It's one of those inflatable spas.
Oh, yes, I do know the kind. We used to have one till I started getting a rash all over my body.
Oh, right. Okay. Anyway, we've got a lazy spa. And basically, for the sake of a £1, well, an item I think that would cost about 50p, we're basically going to have to throw it away.
What's the item? Tell me. Maybe I've got the item.
No, you certainly will not have this. And this is what's absolutely ridiculous, because Lazy Spa, I believe, should be banned by some kind of government legislation, because they do not have suitable small spare parts. They don't release them themselves.
What was it? What was it?
So you've got the pump that sits outside, and the pump has 3 ports on it. It has one that sucks the water in for filtering and heating it, and pumps it back into the hot tub. That's the filtration. Then you have a third sort of pipe on it that is your blower. So you turn it on, that pumps the air through.
Yeah.
So on the liner, so you've got the pump, and then you've got the actual tub itself, which is the inflatable paddling bit.
Yeah.
There is a rubber non-return flap that is molded into the port for the blower. And what happens is, after Lazy Spa admit, after 2 years, you may need to buy a new liner for your hot tub.
Ooh.
And what happens is, and what's happened to mine is, when you turn the blower on, eventually the rubber has perished enough that the flap, the non-return flap, detaches from where it's supposed to be on the entrance port to the rubber tub, and it shoots off inside the ring where the bubbles come out of, so you can't get it back.
Oh dear, that's no good.
And it's only like a little rubber bit with a thing on it that molds into it, basically. But these bits are completely bespoke to the tubs, and they do not sell them.
They do not sell your
Yep.
flange.
They do not sell the flange, and it's, all over the internet, loads of people in communities complaining about it, and Lazy Spa say, yes, we don't sell these. You have to spend £200 on a new liner.
And is that classed as a dick move?
That is a dick move. What do we think, chat? Do we think that's a dick move? I mean, it's literally, the piece of rubber would be about 2 inches across, with another bit that holds it onto where it goes, where it's completely bespokely molded. And obviously, they must have some in the factory in their supply chain, mustn't they? Because they must have them there for when they build the tubs. But they will not sell them. But they do not sell them as individual parts.
Yeah, you should start a campaign, a smear campaign.
We're just going to get rid of the bloody thing and get a better one that actually has a reasonable supply parts chain.
Why don't you just replace it with any cheap Chinese one and just go, look, there you go, and then after 2 years, 3 years, bin it, start again.
Also, Nigel's saying the government would take them to court in Australia.
Ooh.
And David is saying, I think there's a massive difference in cost between repairing, just getting the one on production line in Charity. Most of the stuff that's been broken.
I think we should task Nigel to help with that.
No, it's not.
But I don't want to be accused of making plans for Nigel.
I do think, I need to take my hot tub to Australia, yeah. No, but I just think it's a ridiculous situation that for the sake of what should be a very cheap item, the whole tub has to basically be replaced, because without the non-return valve, what's happening now is when the tub's full of water, it leaks back through the pump and all the water just pours out the bottom of the pump.
I've got not a similar thing, but a thing that's annoying. I've got a Simmons coffee machine.
Sorry, Ash just said hot tub crime machine.
Oh, it's fantastic tonight. It needs a washer, an O-ring, just a regular little O-ring. And the problem I have, it's obviously not. It's slightly irregular in that I can't find a suitable replacement from any of the ones I already have in my kits. It's not like quite standard. And I remember looking it up a while back, and it was going to cost 30 quid for literally something that would be fractions of a penny, and I just haven't fixed that yet. But it's like a 600 quid coffee machine or something that's just can't be used because of that. So yeah,
Custado, thanks for that link. Yeah, I've seen that link. Some guy managed to have his bit that is that's broken off. He managed to get it and do a a makeshift. If you read the comments, it still leaks, but equally, the bit that he's managed to put a bolt through, he's managed to retain. Mine has completely shot off inside the ring of the tub itself, so there's no way to get it back out of there because the air pressure has pushed it round. So I'd have to cut into the tub to try and get this bit back, which would write the tub off anyway.
Hey, Becky. Evening.
Hey, Becky, we're just talking about hot tubs. I bet you've got a hot tub story or two to say.
I'll tell you what, I do like that hot tub movie.
Hot Tub Time Machine, yeah, first one's good.
Or probably any hot tub movie, to be honest with you. But yeah, the hot tub time machine's what I was referring to, indeed.
Yes. But equally, I've with the replacement one we're looking at now, we're not getting a proper hot tub. We want one we can move around, but we want one that's a bit better. I found one that's a better manufacturer that actually has a proper supply chain of spare parts.
But you know what's weird though, Andrew? Hot tubs are pretty cheap when you go looking for them. People always bin in them after a while because they can't be asked.
Yeah.
I kind of sometimes like the idea of it and go, but nah, I just remember it. I remember the whole chemicals and whatnot, so I don't think.
Yeah, well, this one also has automatic chemical dispensing. Because I have sensitive skin as well. You're better off using bromide.
That's it. Used to
or
use
bromine
bromide,
rather than chlorine. Chlorine's much harsher on your skin.
I think it might be down to maybe you get allergic to all of the crap that ends up in the water if people don't take showers. So
Yeah, that's the other thing. So this has got better filters. Yeah. But especially if you've got kids, you put kids near a hot tub, they make it like a toxic soup.
Just filled with piss and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. So I think, what do we think, guys? Is this design looking done? I mean, what's really weird, to my eye, this left-hand chamfer looks different than the right-hand one, but I think from using my precise tools and measurements that it is in the same. Yeah, see, it is actually in the same place. So yeah, it's just an optical illusion.
So Nigel says someone could make a silicone mold for the part and make them. I'm sure someone probably could, but what you'd have to do to get this part is you'd have to get a working hot tub liner and get the part out of it. And then with the tooling and everything, I mean, you'd have to have. It's such a small item that wouldn't. I mean, Andrew, from a manufacturing point of view, getting a small sort of silicone washer made, how many would you have to do to make it worth your while? And then
Silicone.
you sales.
I don't know.
Or rubber.
I could probably, if I was going to do it and set up, I could like say make you some. It would probably take about like 2 hours to make all the the tool for it and stuff, and the mold.
But what kind of quantity would you have to do to make it worth your while?
Oh, I don't think you could. I think I think it would be worth your while if you made a few and you charge. Let's say you made like 20 of them and you charged a tenner, and you say, look, guys, I know it's a lot of money, but it's just the first lot will be a tenner each, and then after that, anybody can have one for like £1.
Yeah.
But I think it would be worthwhile because I still think, it's still just a tenner.
Yeah.
You're right, Ash. I don't know what it's done with this these traces underneath. It has gone a bit tonto, hasn't it? I'm just gonna. It's kind of done something weird with its orthogoliness. It's made them more orthogally. Oh, I didn't want to pull it up all that way, but it's all right. Let's lay it down. We're going to take this down to Chinatown. Top trace or bottom? That's always the question. What was your favourite school show, Andrew? Like at school, sometimes they'd wheel in one of those tellies.
Oh yeah.
And they'd make watch some telly instead of actually teaching you something. Did you ever have a favourite for that?
Words and pictures.
Words and pictures. I don't remember that. Would you watch Sesame Street and all of that?
Well, Sesame Street was at home, so I remember that. Or edu dramas. Oh no, words and pictures. Yes, because we had things like Dark Towers and Boy from Space.
Do you remember we talked about? Was it Glitterball? Do you remember that about like?
Glitterball was part of the Children's Film Foundation.
Glitter ball, and then
There was loads of Tommy in his tiger t-shirt.
I like the one with the aeroplanes, and they fired darts at like drug dealing aeroplanes.
Yeah. I bet you're saying Wordy. That was on Words and Pictures. Peep Peep. That's right. From Boy from Space. There was also one where Boone, Michael Elphick,
Oh,
died pouring petrol onto baked potatoes.
was that how he was cooking them? Did he get that from Brian Harvey Badger?
No. So I think it was called like Runaway Island. As kids were allowed to do in the 70s, they'd gone to this little island in the middle of like some industrial estates pond or something. It was very strange. And when they were on this island, there were two bank robbers who were hiding out on there. And one was the old guy, and he was grumpy but had a heart of gold. And
Yeah.
then they had the younger one, played by Michael Elphick. And the kids were kind of really hungry. And then they were digging around in the dirt, and they found all these potatoes. And they started doing this. Basically, they made this fire, like in this little hut. But then, and they put the potatoes in to cook them. And Michael Elphick got nervous because this fire was going to alert the authorities to where they were. But they just so happened to have a bucket of petrol next to where they were cooking these baked potatoes. So he picked it up,
To put the
threw
fire
the
out.
bucket, and threw a bucket of petrol on the baked potatoes, thinking it was water.
Oh, brilliant.
Exactly.
Ash, I've got another thing about, we're talking about OCD on these circuits, right? This doesn't even need to be a double layer board, does it? In all honesty, I don't see there any necessity genuinely really for it to be a double layer board, apart from you'll get the 5 volts distributed across pin 1 and pin 2, but we could put all the tracks on the bottom or the top. Do you know what I mean? One or the other. What's your view on that?
It was called Black Island. Yeah, the film was.
Yeah. Well, I think you'd want to use 2-layer anyway because all of the through-hole stuff is effectively going to be poking through a via. Why am I calling it vias now? Via, for fuck's sake. That's YouTube that is corrupting me with all of these various foreign YouTubers and their crazy pronunciations. It's a via, mate. Look at that lovely via. No, it's a via. Let's pop that on the bottom. You agree? We
Becky
both
used to
agree.
watch a lovely program called The Badgers of Bastardland. I've never heard of that.
The Badgers of Bastardland.
No, I've never heard of that.
The Bastard Badgers of Bastardland would be better, wouldn't it?
Damn the Badgers.
In Dutch, we say via. Come on, you got us. Can you spell it phonetically, Castado? Because I know you're being cheeky here. I'm just gonna go and rotate that capacitor right away. Boom. I don't even think I need the capacitor, to be honest with you. I'm just putting it on there for fun. Because you've always got to put a capacitor on your circuit. Make it look like you've done
Ash says VIA.
a via, not a veer. I've been spending a lot of time this week because I've got meetings next week, and I've been spending a lot of time trying to pronounce different company names that I don't know how to pronounce. So I wanted to, Andrew, how do you pronounce that Chinese telecommunications company?
Huawei.
Huawei. Yeah.
Mm.
And I have been going through all sorts of mnemonics and stuff trying to remember it. And yeah, I think I'm at the Huawei stage.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you look at how it's spelled, Huawei, if you split them apart, it kind of looks more sensible to your brain.
Yeah.
And at least you could say Huawei, which is kind of not too far off it.
No.
But yeah, all sorts of mental pronunciations of that. Are they unbanned? I don't know. They kind of might be unbanned a bit. Now, Ash, I'm almost tempted to add a bit more gap between the ground ground plane and this trace, but
Not the prane,
the ground plane.
not the
Well,
ground prane.
welcome to the ground plane. Um, and I like this design as well because if I get lazy and can't be bothered to protect these USB ports, you could just put 0R resistors here or just pieces of wire across and it's all going to work too.
Lee wants to know who is the other voice he is hearing on this stream.
Oh,
Who am I?
okay. So the voice you're hearing is the other Andrew. That's the Andrew Dalton. So we as he's my non-sexual life partner, we do all our streams together and
Hetero life mate.
hetero life mate, and he
That's
wasn't
right.
we wasn't really we tried to I'm getting really almost flustered now in talking about our origin story, Andrew. But we met over a love of retro and Chinese buffets.
Exactly. As any good relationship.
Any good relationship should be built on those pillars, I think, really. And that's why a lot of
Speaking
people
of
don't get on with their wives.
speaking of Chinese buffets as well, that one we went to in Cardiff has gone
Yes.
downhill a bit, but around the corner there's an even better one
Really? What, in the same Cardiff Bay area?
in the same Cardiff area, just about 5 minutes walk into the bay itself.
Oh, I just realised something, guys. I've got more than enough space here to add a wee little hole somewhere. A wee little hole. The Andrew.
Casado, the Andrew Dalton that's on the internet you encounter almost as often as Larry Bundy. I'm just very prevalent in the community.
I find it strange when I'm looking at something and find a comment from Larry
Statistically,
on the most random thing that I happen to be
yes.
looking at.
Statistically, you will find Larry on at least 6 out of every 10 YouTube video comment sections.
It's the law.
Becky's 30 miles from Cardiff. Are you in Wales, Becky?
Let me just move this Atari ST logo over a bit so I can fit me all.
Ash, Larry doesn't just comment on retro vids. He comments on every video.
He does actually comment on quite a lot of electronic videos. I think that's probably where Ash is picking him up on. And I'm like, okay, very impressive. Very impressive, but
Becky's in Gloucester.
with Dr. Foster.
Mm.
What was the old Dr. Foster Gloucester? That was definitely a some sort of nursery rhyme, I recall.
I think so.
Oh no, I'm going to do Control Z and it's going to break something. No, it seems okay. Come on, back office logo, pick up. He was picked up without any other wires. So I'm going to align that to the left of that. That's kind of, again, affecting the old OCD a bit. Sometimes you just got to roll with it, though, don't you? If you're going to if you're going to want some whole action, you've got to put up with some stuff. I think even an offset hole like that on a 3D printed case is enough to crimp the two sides together. Oh, he went to Gloucester in a shower of rain. He didn't he step in a poodle up to his middle and never went there again. There was an old man from Kent who walked with a mysterious bent. I don't know an old man from Kent song actually.
No, but there was the one. There was the abbreviated one that they cut out in one of the Star Trek Next Generation. Data was about to recite a limerick. There was a young lady from Venus whose body was shaped like a.
Well, who stopped him?
Picard.
Oh, Picard. Yeah, because Riker would have been well up for that. He'd have let him
Riker would have been like, "Go on, yeah,
go on, my son."
Yeah.
Was that in a movie or in the TV?
No, it was in a TV show.
Oh, come on. You know what? You didn't like Discovery, did you?
It's all right.
I think they had some androids in that were a bit rubbish, but towards the end of it got better. But they were never as good as Data was.
Well, no, but Data's several hundred years more advanced, isn't he?
Oh, really? Yeah, I suppose he would be, wouldn't he?
Yeah, data's like a couple hundred years, at least 100 years more advanced.
Oh, yes, we do forget that. So Electron Ash is asking, how did you import the logos, Dr. A? It's a friggin' nightmare. That's to simplify it. It is a nightmare, but to do that, I think you run a ULP called import BMP and just play with it. I can't advise you on it because it's such a horrible process. But yeah, import BMP and you've got to do a lot of stuff. And of course, if you do it wrong, your Gerbers will be massive. Scott Spatula. Um, yeah, Electron Ash, that's basically it. That's basically it. So when you say the second series, Lee, are you talking about Discovery?
Hmm.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it really picked up a bit of pace. The stories do hold together. It's all right. But I don't know if that lawsuit, do you see that lawsuit about it? Because it's like the first series is pretty much the whole thing about that space troglodyte beast thing was just ripped off from someone's video game. You know, the thing about the tardigrades or whatever it's called.
Oh, tardigrades, yes.
That whole thing about the two doctors, the gay doctor and the thing, that's exactly it was like in that whole guy's video game thing he made, which is really nasty. Think if someone in Hollywood just tried to get away just nicking it verbatim.
Mm.
I, I was getting confused though with tardigrades and ambergris, but they're very similar things. Tardigrades. Oh, that is what it's called, Electrona. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of Discovery. It's all right. I much prefer um, uh, um, Orville.
It's been a long time. Right, I'm going to do the next stage, Ash, and anybody in the chat, which is the horrible stage of the CAM processor. So I normally screw this up. Oh, I think we go for the Gerber 274 profile. Then you click process job, jump, jump, jump. Oh, look at the apertures. These are going to be big Gerbers. I've done something. Let's see what happens here. So these, if you don't know, Gerbers are the files that you end up giving to the PCB companies to screw up for you. And it's really clunky. It's really weird. You do the same process every single time. Yeah, and I haven't done that, Ash, because I tend to only I don't know. So there's some companies that even take the Eagle file directly. Becky, I think you're right. I was going to make molds, resin molds for the resin chess pieces because I really like the idea of that. But I'm giving it a little while because I might by next week I might have gone off chess. Right, so we do another job which is the Excellion processing, and that was quick. So then what we do is we write gerbv and hope it's installed, which it might be. And then we're going to open the Gerber files. I can't actually, do we open Gerber or just open all? No, we just say open Gerber files then. And we try to find our project. Atari ST power board, what was that? Oh, is that what we've just done? Yes, it is. And then you bring in all of the files. So you want to do it by time. So you get all of those. I think the DTD is the drill file, is it? Solder. It's a mess, isn't it? I think the DRD might be the Excelon drill. So we'll open everything about that. It's really not liking it. And then I'm going to do open Excelon drill file. Oh, it's DRL. I think DRD. Let's see what that is.
Becky played chess like a pro when she was younger. She came third in the Wiltshire Under 12s Championship.
Really? That's really impressive.
Mm.
I'm just noticing here, by the way, this happens when I open my drill file. You can see it's like gone off. It's like the scale of the drill file is like 10 times different than everything else for some reason. but that seems quite common when I do it. Although that one seems all right. Look, D10. Oh, that's just the markings. So you see all the different layers here, and you can just turn them all on and off, check them out individually. So
David feels moderately moderated.
moderately
Sure
moderated.
Oh,
Did,
spanners are mods / out. Oh, yeah, people with spanners by the names. Yes, that's the mods.
so that's
So,
the bottom solder mask, by the way. Looks good to me. What you're looking for, by the way, if you're ever looking, is just something that looks obviously cocked up. That's basically it.
so here's a question for you, Andrew. And this is I appreciate chat's opinion on this as well. My estate where I live is quite interesting here in Bridgend. My estate, when it was built in 1998, they put all the ducting in and the cabinets, which are empty, for cable tel to bring cable
Yeah.
products to the estate. They never lit it. The WDA paid them when they built the brand new, because I live on a very, very large estate, one of the biggest in Europe, thousands of houses. But the whole estate has the infrastructure in for cable.
Yes.
And Virgin Media now are starting to actually enable my estate.
Oh, that's nice.
So, 2 seconds.
Ugh, Gerberview jumps around like a bastard. Ash, don't you think it's okay? I think it's all right as it is.
So anyway, my estate's being wired up for Virgin Media. And of course, I will be able to get even faster broadband than I've got now when I have. So I'm going to sign up for Virgin Media when it's available. But also, I'm going to keep my existing VDSL fiber line. I've decided I'm going to have 2 connections. It's going to cost me about £22 a month to keep my broadband, my additional line. I appreciate it's a cost, but I'm not financially strapped. And I work from home, as you know, like most of the time. I think it's
Yeah.
quite prudent to have a spare broadband line.
Yeah, that'd be
Considering,
if it's a
well,
work one,
yeah,
effectively.
just have a backup one, because basically my nearest office is in Birmingham for
Yeah.
the company I work for. So if I have no broadband, I can't work. So I think for the sake of, 20 odd pounds a month, it's worth keeping a secondary line.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh,
David,
cockpit.
David, I'm capable. Thank you. Thanks for the offer of a MiFi, mate. I'll be fine, because I'm an IT consultant anyway. So I've got I've got a PF Sense firewall here, and it's quite easy just to add a secondary connection as a failover connection to it. So that's no problem. Thanks for the kind offer. But I think it would be worth having a second, a second connection as a backup.
Oh, this is a bodge, but it'll work. Ash, this should cure your OCD again. So, this is a better footprint for that same USB part because it has proper little soldery down things to stop you yoinking the port up. I remember having NTL back in day in Wales. It was very much something, a very Welsh thing to have, wasn't it? But they were really hard to get out of. They didn't like getting you out your contract.
Sorry, who was that, Andrew?
With NTL, which I think is Virgin
Yeah,
Media, they don't
yeah, they
like you
are.
to leave your contract.
No, none of them do. But
Okay, I think that might have just done. That's better, isn't it? That's better. That's better, Watson. Right, where's me job? I just don't know. Like Ash, can't I just combine, like, make a new CAM processor file so that it just does all the friggin' Exelon and everything all at once? Ah, more than one signal layer active. Open job. Gerber, blah, blah, blah. Process job. Let's do it again. Start again. Oh, link above RE job file. Let's have a look. What did you say about the old job file? You posted a link, Electron. I'm looking. I'm still looking. Complicated. I'll search the chat afterwards. Let's get this on. Yeah, so what you can do, Esh Park Eagle cam job. Yeah, because I defined my own cam job the other day because I can't remember why. Maybe doing something for a milling machine or whatever. So you can just add what you want. So like when you see like the Exelon one here, and you can see what layers it's doing, drills and holes, and you just says DRD, which seems to be DRL is what the other thing wanted. There we go. So that ran. I suppose the problem is that you could just take your own job, like get the Gerber job, maybe as standard, and then just, yeah, add the extra tab for that. But screw it. It's done now anyway. That's a problem. I've been saying screw it, it's done now anyway for 20 years. Okay, GerView. Let's do it. GerView. This is the last time. It's going to work. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. Oh yeah, look, it wants the there's a VLC PLS. Let's go for that too. Okay, so lots of errors. It likes that. Doesn't like the Gerber command. Oh, it's really unhappy. I love how it just chooses random colors every time as well. Are you watching any movies tonight, Andrew?
I don't know. I might do. Might just watch a bit of telly. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I think what the
See you,
guys are
Lee.
sort of
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'm just saying
interacting
bye
with the
to Lee.
chat here as well, the same about stuff here. For me, and I don't know about you, Andrew, if you were buying another house right now, how important on the list of things would broadband be?
Primary now.
Yeah,
It's an
it,
essential
it's
utility.
it is a utility, isn't it?
It's probably
They,
even
they,
probably the most important one after electricity.
well, they were actually saying that bad broadband can actually affect your house prices now by up to 10%.
Oh, I can believe it. I cannot believe it. I think this is looking good now. Look at those USB ports. There's no way anybody's yoinking them off now. They're
Well,
bonded in.
the most important thing about to know about UK broadband is Margaret Thatcher held it back.
Did she?
Yes,
I
doubly.
I'm kind of worried in that I've got your artwork from earlier,
Yes.
and it's kind of intertwined with this picture as well. And I can't help but feel you've got some sort of Freudian connotation between the two things. But I don't blame you.
Yeah. Ash is saying about blaming Thatcher and for ditching Wilkins. So the reason Thatcher was against it was BT did actually, when they were under government ownership, go to the government and say they would like to roll fibre out across the country, and she didn't think it was worthwhile.
Really,
It's basically
back then,
back in the early days, they were looking at rolling fibre out across the country, starting to, and Thatcher was like, no, no, it's a waste of money.
It's a waste of money.
And then when the problem was, because BT became a commercial entity after they were privatized, it became, well, rolling out fibre to the nation would not be a profitable thing to do for every property. But as a government-owned commodity like a rail network, it would have been. What should have happened is if the government had retained ownership of BT, they could have rolled out fibre as an infrastructure to every property in the country, and then it would have completely opened up the markets because we would have been able to have lots of different TV and phone companies, providers running over that fibre.
Well, I suspect they did it in. I wonder if there was any other country in Europe or something that
Well, not in Europe, Korea, and I believe I think Sweden did.
Sweden. Sorry, I'm just in another window, by the way, just trying to add all of the Gerber files into a zip, but I'm getting confused because I've got this one here, which is coming up as a KCAD project, and I think that might be the Eagle project file. So we definitely don't want to add that to the Gerber.
Oh, poor old Nigel. I know of your pain, mate. That
What's happened?
basic broadband in Australia is a nightmare.
Oh no. Why is it because it's of the remoteness of some territories, perhaps?
Now they have the National Broadband Network.
Oh, so it's like a government one, is it?
I believe it was set up originally by the government. The government have had, as Nigel's saying, they've had loads of problems with the government changing as it's being rolled out, but also I believe it's not very good internet access it provides.
How big's me board? Excuse me for a moment. I just got to go measure my thing. Do you think broadband, like fiber and all of that, might be eclipsed by some sort of amazing 5G type thing in the not too distant
No,
future?
not in the UK, no. Geography.
Not in the UK.
I think the thing about 5G that people, and again, this is a marketing thing versus a real world thing. 5G is capable of incredible throughputs in optimum conditions,
Yeah.
but it's the difference between sync speed and actual speed of the line.
50 by 35. So I'm just writing down a number.
Because it's always going to be the slowest point in the chain, the weakest link in the chain. And then, so if they're giving everyone such high bandwidth to, such high bandwidth to their phones, but it's still got to go on the backhaul to their ISP connection for the phone provider.
Yeah.
So it just depends how much bandwidth they've got. I don't think we're going to see anywhere near the speeds advertised. And equally, they're not, especially like in Wales, they're going to have like mountains and whatever in the places. I think for good internet, it's always wired infrastructure is going to be required.
What? £495 for PCB costs? Oh yeah. Can you spot the deliberate error? Who puts PCB measurements in centimeters? Oh, that's a bit wrong.
Nigel says there'll be traffic jams on 5G. Yeah, I think they'll be throttling the network. I think the technology is capable of incredible speeds, but they'll be throttling and whatever because they can't cope with it.
What's our country called, Andrew, in a list if it's not the UK?
Great Britain.
Great Britain. It is. Wow. Ah, that's really reasonable. Look, 23 bucks for 10. But I'm going to need way more than 10. Let's see how much it will cost to replace what I've screwed up.
No, Costado, we are not. We are the United Kingdom of Great Britain.
And territorial sausages.
Yes.
Ash, come on. How brave am I? Is this a 20 board order or is this a 40 board order? Boom. Let's have a look. There's a breakpoint on prototyping companies, by the way, if you're watching in the stream. You will think that if you keep adding them, they keep getting incrementally cheaper. But there's a point when you hit it, you will know you've hit it. So $25 for PCB costs at 40. Let's just keep going up and let's see where PCBA's breakpoint is. 27. It's not bad. Let's jump to 100. There's a bit where it normally just starts racing. Oh, yeah, 100's even all right. 200. I'll tell you what, this might be. Hang on a minute. Yeah, that's all right. 200 is 64. 100 is 40. So actually, damn it, PCBA, you're almost at production quantities for me. I get spammed a lot by some of the other ones like JLPCB, JLB PCB or one of those things, but actually you could go production quantity. 8,000. Give me 8,000. Ah. What do you reckon, Andrew? 8,000 of these? I don't think there's 8,000 Atari ST still running.
No, I doubt that very much.
Let's go back to 40. Let's see.
Yeah, Nigel's saying some good stuff about 5G, about the fact that the signals are easily blocked. Yeah, because they're high frequencies, aren't they?
Is it like the 5G, like the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi in my house? It just does nothing. I can't even access it. Unless I'm in the same room. Is it?
Nigel's saying it's rather installs and connects cell towers. My understanding is 5G, as in, yeah, exactly. My understanding is, and again, I'm no expert on radio waves. My understanding is that the higher the speed of the well, Ash would explain this better. My understanding is the higher the speed of the connection, as in the higher the frequency, the less range it has. Yeah, exactly.
So there you go. The price, I think, David, that the price breakpoint really for 1 million units is where we want to be headed. So if I just sell my house and order these up,
Just explain to the wife why you're staying in the travel lodge.
yeah, that I could save over £1 a board when I sell these to Samsung to produce their Atari ST cartridges. It's like that guy from The Simpsons. Do you know the why? What's his name? He's always selling stuff, and he's trying to sell you the undercoating on a Coleco.
Oh, yeah, not Len, no, Les, or he's Hal. Oh. He's the salesman. He was actually to replace. He was brought in as a character to replace Troy McClure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the actor who played Troy McClure was killed in 1998.
Oh,
His
Gil.
wife,
Gil. Tony says Gil. Tony, you got it.
Gil, that's it, Gil, that's right.
I'm David.
Yeah, Troy, the actor who played Troy McClure. My brain is just melting tonight. He was shot by his wife. She sat on the bed, blew his brains out, and then blew her own brains out.
Right. For any reason, or?
She was just Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman, very funny actor.
Look at that. The
Very
difference
funny.
between 40 units and 30 units is literally $2. You got to
That's
go
right.
for 40. What's the 40 to 50 then? If that's like $35. No, 40. 40 is the sweet spot. I'm going to do it at 40 because I've already got a whole load of coasters. If you need a back office show coaster, that's Ash. I think it was 1.6 mil was the actual required dimension. Let me get a board. Oh, I've got a board. Let me get a vernier caliper from the vernier caliper shop.
How many STs did Atari sell in the first place?
I'm going to give the chat the option to decide whether we're going to use the vernier caliper or the micrometer. Costado, it's not worth it because look how okay. Look, it's $32 thing. If I order, you can't order 2, you can order 5, but look how much you'll pay for 5. $17. Do you see what I mean? It's the economics of PCB manufacturing, I'm afraid, sir. Although, yeah, I guess no, because you don't. Oh no, there's no battery in this. Ordering the PCB is always the most painful part, and it's the bit you always run out of, and it's a whole pain in the cock to order more. So, despite having duff PCBs from time to time when something goes wrong, it's still always the best way. I don't know what
Hi,
Ash would say though.
Bazza's with us. Hello, Bazza.
Bazaar, zar, zar, zar. So, I'm reading off this kind of a little bit ropey off their board. I'm taking a mean average. It's 1.6. It's a 1.6 board. It fit perfectly in the ST. That's what kills me. And you know when you see Ash, when you see on the line, um, Fortunately, Floating Fat Man, it's a one of those noise cancelling type for doing telephony, so it doesn't have all the bass and stuff. That's why I try not to use it in videos. Yeah, so when what I was saying is when this actually slides into the Atari ST socket, it fits beautifully because you can see the little line of the pin in the cartridge receptacle makes a mark dead in the middle of what I've drawn. So I'm pleased with that. I'm just going to jump to micrometer because I do get one out from time to time and then realize I've forgotten how to use one. So challenge myself to use one right now. And that is the way it goes. That's 1.5. It's not quite reading 1.6 though, but then there you go. Within tolerance. So you could do an actual Atari power move and make more than there were machines like they did with ET. Oh, and then just bury them. I think, Ash, I don't know. I'm not going for gold fingers anymore. I don't think that it's needed. I don't even know about the beveling if it's really needed either. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to manually bevel them for me punters. I'm going to manually bevel. I'm not even going to order it because it's just going to cock it up. Look, do you see it there? It's not even going to ask for it. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Stop causing trouble. It's not going to damage nothing. Right. What do I click? I click quote. Let's just check the last thing. Atari ST USB power wanker. 40 pieces, 2 layers, 5 centimeters by 3.5. Sounds a bit big actually, but it is what it is.
You've got a window open there, so I can hear birds.
Oh.
It's very strange. Maybe I'm having
like giggling and frolicking
no,
around.
No, I can hear like sparrows and blackbirds and pigeons and things. Maybe I'm having some kind of stroke or something.
I think you are. I think that's one of the signs of having a stroke.
Is it? Okay.
Right, so that's submitted for quoting. Let's get quoting. So that means while I'm at it, I might as well just tent my vias. Tent my vias. Tent your vias, mate. Where's the eagle gone? On my other design and just get that one posted. What is ENIG? I never know what ENIG is, Electron Ash. Explain to me. I might need it. I might have ordered it, but I definitely don't know what it is right now. Diagnostic card. That's what we want. V3. Right, so we've already done that PCB side and we were happy with it. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now, I've got to remember how to do this. I think what we do is you go into the design rule check and you go to your one of these masks, I think. Stop minimum 4 mil. I don't know. Do we just set that to like 1 or something? Let's see what happens. Apply it. Check it. Well, they look like they're tinted. But just to sort of double check that wasn't just complete bullshit, I'll put it back up. Instead of 4 mil, I'm going to put it to 40 mil, which is mental. And then click select, see if that makes any difference at all. Yep, absolutely no difference whatsoever. So let's put that back. Then go online and figure out how to bloody do it properly. Right. Oh, by the way, someone in local in Swindon was selling an Atari ST folio thing. Do you remember that one that was in Terminator? And it had like an external memory pack and all that, and books, everything for 30 quid. A really good condition.
Did you buy it?
No. I really decided, you've seen the crap around me, that enough is enough now. There was a point where it's a diminishing return, and what am I going to do with them unless I'm going to write a book about them or something? Time to stop buying.
Yes, but you could have bought it and then stolen money from cash points with it.
Well, yeah, that is the benefit of it, to be fair. Tented or
So,
non-tented? Oh, here we go. Masks limit. I think that's where I was going though. Let's try that again. So I went here. Masks. Yeah, limit. Oh, limit. Limit. And they're putting like 20 mil or something. What does that do? Oh, look. Hang on a minute. Time to read before changing stuff.
I will say something though, Andrew. When at Manchester, you should have hung around a little bit more because Rob Costado and I went for a fantastic burger and milkshake after the event. Play Expo Manchester.
I think I was with Neil, wasn't I? So I was.
Oh, you were. I remember now. You were car sharing.
We were car sharing, so it wasn't
Oh, that's
really
a
my
shame.
option, my
That's a
choice.
shame. It was a very good burger place in the basement
Mm,
of a place we went to.
I feel I got to tidy up these friggin' pads now. Um, yeah, it was all right, wasn't it? That was a right weekend. That was.
Ah, but Blackpool will be better.
I feel though it seems really quiet right now,
It does. It
but
does. But it's going to be.
I don't know if it's just me though. It might be just me being, not doing stuff, but there doesn't seem to be much on right now.
I think it's just a bit quiet in general. And I've realised what the birds tweeting are. Is I've got my external CCTV camera on my phone because I'm waiting for something to be delivered. So
At 9 o'clock at night, is it a kebab?
it's some Chinese food for me and my wife because my wife's working at the moment. So when she finishes work, have some
Oh,
dinner.
so she's gonna come home and get a lovely.
No, she's working in her office next to my office.
Oh, all right. So still, she knows you've ordered a lovely meal. Just
Yes,
just
exactly.
one that doesn't require cooking. Is it what is it Chinese, did you say?
It's
Sorry.
Chinese, yes.
Mm. Good choice.
And that's what the birds tweeting are. The birds are actually outside my house. So
Is it
just I.
it sounds like a Disney thing, like the birds are really happy that you're getting the Chinese.
Well, they would be. They would be. Who wouldn't?
Um, only the bird that is in the dish.
In the Chinese, the chicken. Yeah, the chicken in the Chinese.
The chicken in the Chinese. That sounds like a like that girl with the dragon tattoo. That sounds like a
It
title.
is
The chicken in the Chinese. A gritty spy movie.
chicken in the
Oh
Chinese. Yeah.
no, that's not gonna. Ash will not approve of that.
Costado, I am working on trying to find somewhere half decent to eat in Blackpool. We do have a really good place for breakfasts, though, mate. So hang with us. We'll take you to the place for breakfast because it does a good breakfast.
What's the breakfast place called? Is it
Quilligans.
Quilligans?
Yes.
Good advice there, Ash. I'm very lazy at just disabling layers ad hoc, but I coulda, shoulda, woulda. But I've only got a
Because
few to do.
I would advise anyone who goes to um, Blackpool not to eat in the Norbreck.
You don't hear good things.
No. But that chippy behind the Norbreck's very good.
I hear they do very good sausages.
They do a good sausage there. Yeah, not to eat at the Norbreck. That's exactly right. But Quilligans, really good breakfast there.
Is it a tram ride or a walk?
It's a tram ride, but I don't mind a tram ride. I like the tram.
I get worried because I feel it's like that movie, The Warriors, and we're going to get into a rumble on it.
No.
I might have to watch that again because I really don't remember anything about it apart from the, Warrior, the guy chinking the bottles together. That's the only bit I remember. Was there a good video game? It almost sounds like a Streets of Rage type video game, wouldn't it? It would have been a good fit for that.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like by some quite famous director, wasn't it? It was like Spielberg or something as well.
What, the Warriors?
It was someone, wasn't it?
Well, they weren't that famous, I don't think.
Maybe it's not like John Carpenter or something.
No, it was Walter Hill.
All right, could have been anyone then.
He directed. Oh, he did direct a few things. Hard Times, The Driver, Southern 48 Hours, 48 Hours, Red Heat.
Oh yeah, well that's kind of a real movie, Red Heat.
Yeah.
I finally finished The Running Man because I kept falling asleep while I was watching it.
I like The Running Man.
It's such a good movie though, isn't it?
Yeah. The good news is as well, Costado, when we're going to the Norbreck this time, it's not going to be the weekend of the Blackpool Illuminations.
Why is that a good thing?
Because that's why the trams were so congested last time when I disappeared for 3 hours trying to get back. And I got accosted by the scary man in the tram stop.
Was it like a tramp or something, wasn't it?
It was a tramp having a shouting conversation with someone wearing an unplugged pair of headphones with the cable dangling by him, and he was denouncing the government in the name of the Queen. No, in the name of the Prime Minister.
Wow.
He was a proper nutter. Craig, who's in the chat right now, found it hysterical, the WhatsApp messages from me like, "Oh my god, I think I'm going to die."
Yeah, and everyone's like, yeah, come
Yeah.
on. Well, that's looking a bit better now. I'm going to have to run a DRC though. Make sure I didn't mess anything up. Plenty of dimension. Mild man, Milkman. There we go. Width. I don't like your width. Well, that's fine. I don't like yours either.
But we will be finding some reasonable places in Blackpool food.
Well, we didn't need that much food, really, do you? While you're there.
No, but you want an evening meal on the Friday night and the Saturday night,
I guess so.
and not to eat at the Norbreck.
Anything but that.
Yes.
Right, let's do cam processing. Cam processing.
And speaking of, it's a very good Stephen King novel. Yes, the Norbreck is the hotel pretty much out The Shining.
Oh, Electronash also watched Men at Work with Estevez. She is quite good, wasn't it? I quite like
Well,
those
they are
movies.
brothers, don't forget.
Yeah, they are. Is Emilio in anything these days?
Not much. I think he's a bit more behind the camera now.
Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch. Oh, I cried at that.
Is that one of the non-dead Belushi brothers?
No, that's K9. K9 is John or Jim. There's two. There's John and Jim. It's Jim Belushi in K9, who's kind of in his brother's shadow.
Job. Where's my job? Here's my job. My
Jim Belushi.
job.
John Belushi was the one who was actually very talented.
John or Jim?
Yeah.
We want your gerbers. We want your gerbers. I'm pronouncing it gerbers. I'm guessing that probably is how you pronounce it. All of them. All of them are going in the file. Rename. Gerbers. V3. Ash, if this board fails again, because I've screwed something up, I'm going to give you monies, try to bribe you with monies to make you do it for me and finish it. Because I don't think I could bear another attempt at this. Right, let's do this. PCB quote. Upload the Gerber files. Oh no, I didn't do the Gerber view. Yeah, I've never watched Godfather Baza, any of them.
I've tried watching them. I don't get on with them.
Do you think it's one of those ones which everybody raves about, but it's a bit shit?
I think it's a film everyone raves about, but it's maybe just not one for you if you. Sometimes a film just won't click with you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Sometimes a film just won't click with you. Very much, even the original Blade Runner for me, I struggle with that.
It's starting to be really tedious to watch now, I find. I don't mind the new one though. People didn't like that, but I was like, no, it's all right.
Nice, yeah, that's not bad. But like I say, I struggle with the original Blade Runner. There's certain films that people do. Yeah, Ash is right. Goodfellas and Casino are much better films.
Yes.
Much better films, in my opinion.
Oh my God, Joe Pesci in that is proper scary, isn't he?
Well, there's a new film coming out on Netflix soon called The Irishman, which is all the Goodfellas cast based and Casino cast reunited, including Joe Pesci and Robert De
Really?
Niro, making a film with Martin Scorsese.
You got room for one more?
Got room for
hello.
one more, you
Hello,
mate.
Daniel.
How you doing, guys?
All right, mate.
Good. We're doing pretty good. How are you? We haven't chatted forever.
Well, probably since the last time I randomly jumped in on one of your live streams, I imagine.
That's true. But yeah, it's weird though, isn't it? It's like summer's just going so fast now.
Yeah, I suppose so. Well, my
No?
son's graduating from nursery tomorrow.
Wow. Tomorrow?
On Sunday.
Sunday?
Yeah. They do it at certain different times, so there's as many parents as they can come.
Oh, right. Has it got the modern thing of most primary schools where you're not allowed to record it and video it and stuff?
Oh, no, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
We're allowed to do it. You're just not allowed to share it on social media without permission.
Well, I don't think you're allowed to. Yeah.
Is that called Gary's law?
Is that called Gary's what?
What are you saying about
Gary's law? No.
No. Oh, you mean Glitter's law?
Glitter's law, yeah.
Yeah, it's not as in our friend Gary.
I was about to say. That's what I thought you was talking about.
Like, what are you saying? No.
Slander.
It sounds pretty cool. They've got like a magician turning up and a balloon artist.
Well, you'll be happy at least, Dan.
Well, imagine that though. I'm an artist. Oh, what's your medium?
What do
you use? Yeah, balloons. To be fair, that would impress me.
Yeah, but mate, the staff behind the counter at Subway are called bloody sandwich artists.
Oh, I tell you what, can we just do a little rant on Subway?
Yeah, sure, go on. Yeah,
I just want to go in and have a sandwich, right? You know, like when you see the picture and it says like, meatball marinara sub, and it shows a picture with the salad and sauce. All that. It's just like, can I have that, please? And they make you go through the whole fucking thing every time. Do you want the honey out, the bloody thing? It's just like,
it's obviously to make sure that you're having the right, the perfect one.
Yeah, but it's like literally, don't give a shit about it most of the time. It's like, it's a sandwich. I'll eat anything. It's just like, fine, get on with it. All right, then it's just me. That's fine.
Oh, I don't know.
Just me, then fine.
They just want to make it. They just want to give you the option.
I like Subway. It's expensive though.
It isn't cheap. It isn't cheap at all. And
it's surprising. I think it's because you live by like how cheap like McDonald's is or something, And then you go to Subway. Fucking hell! I just spent a tenner on a sandwich.
Yeah, but mind you, Domino's. Many years ago, I dated a girl who was a manager of a branch of Domino's, and I saw the costing spreadsheets.
I think you've told me this. Yeah.
The box basically costs more than the piece. Even when Domino's do these incredible discount codes, and you go, "Oh my God, I've just ordered 50 quid's worth of pizza and only paid 25 quid for it." And you think you got an amazing deal. No, there's still money hand over fist making profit. A pizza costs them no more than about £2 tops to get out the door for a large one.
Easily, think about it, because if you go to any of the other food places, even around here, which are next to Domino's, and get a pizza, it's like £6. And even then, when I was in Loughborough, you could get a pizza for a £5 easily.
Yeah.
And they had Papa John's and Domino's were always like 20 quid plus, and you're just like thinking, you're mental buying this. It's not that good. It's not 20 quid good. And I think, whenever I get one, it's always in offers. I I think
Oh
you
no, I'd
can't pay
never
full fat.
ever. I would never pay full price for a Domino's.
You're a mug if you are. To be fair,
absolutely.
I'm more of a Papa John's pizza man.
I much prefer Papa John's. I don't really like Domino's very much. But we don't have a Papa John's that delivers to me.
Why do
Oh,
why do both though pizza establishments seem to use the same processing equipment, receipt printing equipment? Are you sure they're not the same company?
No, they are separate
Nah.
companies. It's just they are companies that make their money selling all the pizza ovens to these big chains because they've got scaled equipment because the pizza cooks the same way.
Where's
I'm just playing some Mega SG while I chat to you guys.
What game is in there, Dan?
Insector X. I've never played it before.
Oh.
It's kind of a shmup, I suppose, left to right shmup. Like what games are like that? I can't get to think of F-Zero out of my head. R-Type, I suppose, a bit like that. But everything's an insect.
Well, I've got to say though, Dan, everyone needs to check out your Kick Scammer update video because I know Andrew's audience will be very happy to see a video about a woman with 3 boobs.
Oh yes.
Andrew will be happy to see a video about a woman with 3 boobs.
I certainly would be.
This is a woman that wants to make it a reality, though. Not like old, third nipple Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, really?
We're talking proper wants to make it happen.
She wants to be the woman out.
Pay for the surgery.
Yeah, she wants to be the woman out of Total Recall, doesn't she?
Indeed, she does.
How do they construct it then? Is it?
Well, she basically she said she became famous because she's got a video that's got 5 million views, and everything else has got like 90, 20, 10, 5, 2, hundreds. Like she's probably like shot down since that one time.
Yeah.
But she basically said that she was a free-breasted woman. That she's up there, given a close-up in her bikini, and Mistress Tridevil, if you want to look her up, and her most popular video. And she's basically wearing a bikini and she's got a third breast, and obviously it turned out to be fake. But she kept it going for so long, this like thing, that she even started to wear it in bed and all this sort of stuff, to like try and convince her friends and family. Which I don't really understand the family, because surely your family would know, but regardless. And now she's fallen in love with it and wants an actual third breast. She rang around many places, finally found a surgeon that would do it, but he wants 50k, so she's asking for 70, after fees and complications.
Yeah, all the messing around.
Yeah, she wants... Fucking hell, I'm bad at Insector X. Just wants to know. But there you go.
I've just noticed something that Electron Ash will appreciate here, that I'm in the process of uploading my Gerbers for PCB quoting of the Odroid Go headphone hat, which I've made billions of those friggin' things. Drives me nuts. But I thought I'd better make more because people keep nagging me. And I've somehow managed to end up with 3 sets of source files, one for Seed Studio, one for PCBWay, and one for I don't know who, and one called Bad Gerbers. And I've got to choose out of these 3 that I know are probably okay, which was the latest design. And if I choose wrong, it'll be a pile of shite. Decisions. It's like playing Russian roulette.
Andrew.
Yes, mate.
Sorry, not Andrew. The other one.
All the
Andrews. I wanted to ask, whatever happened to the thing we had, where I rang up the company off the CCTV footage?
We've got that. I've got the footage. I've got the video of it. It's sitting in YouTube. It's whether or not we. I can't even remember if I actually published that, but we do have it.
No, I think you left it on. You set it to unpublished for the time being.
But I don't know what to do with it. Should I download it and try to do a supercut of it?
I don't really know. Like, it's a risque thing.
Well, no one complained about it. It was that long ago.
Do you think that would be creepy if that was anything else than a restaurant?
Well, I think if it was someone's house, yes, they might be.
I've just been looking on your daughter's CCTV.
That was all part of it, though. Do you remember? That was part of it, wasn't it? Because do you remember there was unlocked webcams?
Yeah, I'm looking at the website for it now. We need to be careful not to go down this hole too much again. I'm watching someone outside cooking
No, I'm not
burgers.
doing it again. I'm playing.
No,
something.
mate.
But there was
No,
there
that
was some
was-
bloke watching his TV or something, wasn't there? It was like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
eating his cereal.
Have I got you guys back on this of watching it, trying to find funky?
No, I'm just going to flick through. But there's someone laying on their bed watching. Someone in Taiwan. I just found he was laying on their bed watching telly.
Wow, it's so crazy, isn't it?
But why would have a CCTV camera and IP in their bedroom?
I've decided to change my game from Insector X to Atomic RoboKid.
Oh, I was playing that today. Oh, let me tell you, Daniel, what I was playing it on too. My brother, I don't know what the story was, but it was just turned up at my house. This monitor with something on the back which was connected onto the Visa mount, and it turns out it was a Raspberry Pi, like a Raspberry Pi 2 in a nice case, with an Xbox
Okay.
360 controller receiver and an AC adapter, and that was it. So I plugged it, I took it all off that and put it on my big telly just to test it all out. And it turns out to be the most complete arcade, Sega, Nintendo, DS, Virtual Boy, every single ROM I've ever witnessed on a RetroPie setup, with every graphic, every case art, every menu perfect. You know, like absolutely professionally done perfection. And
Oh wow!
the two games I played were Space Harrier and Atomic RoboKid. Check it out, and Street Fighter. It was all there. And just to prove that I wasn't fooling myself, I made a clone that whole micro SD card onto another one, and then put the new card into the same Raspberry Pi and booted it up, and it all worked again. So I was like, cool. It's a very cool collection that someone's put together. They must have put a lot of effort into that. So if you have a spare Raspberry Pi, I think this is a Raspberry Pi 2, or a spare 32 gigabyte SD card, you might want a copy for record.
Ooh.
But what's really
So-
cool about it is I did find recently all of my like Mega Drive and SNES video game collection, and
Yeah.
I don't want to really play it on them anymore. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to get them out and have the wires and they're not HDMI. And I'm just like, I'm going to just jump onto that, get onto it.
Why not?
So I'm not going to actually link to this or say which camera I am looking at, but I just flicked on that site, hopped through one of the cameras, and this is a recruitment firm has pointed their camera at their whiteboard, and it says which customer, which member of staff is dealing with them, what the hourly rate is for the staff, the job description, and which candidates have been sent forward for the jobs with their contact details.
Really?
Yeah. If this was in the UK, it's not in the UK or Europe, so it's not a GDPR breach, but this would be a major.
A little bit of a GDPR fail.
Little bit, yeah.
I'd say so.
So I'm not.
Ash,
gonna
just
say-
to let you know, I think I'm going to compare the two files using GerbV for the latest seed build. Take it from there.
So Dan, what are you working on at the moment?
A complete history. Well, I was going to work on it tonight, but I don't ever play games, so I've decided to play a game. And I notice I don't play games because games I used to. Oh fucking hell! Music's coming out of that. Jesus. How do we turn you down? There we go. I notice I'm not very good at them. So yeah, I need to change that really.
You're going to have to do a bit more game playing for that, though, mate. I'm the same. I don't play anything half the time anymore. Right.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Hmm.
I'm enjoying this game though. That's got to be said.
Oh, do you know there's a good game if you've got a 3DS? Tank Troopers.
Oh yeah,
It's a
that's a good one, is it?
multiplayer tank game, and it's just it's really good fun, and me and my kids play that. It's just the right balance, and it has a single player campaign as well. It's just perfect. It's one of those games you could download from the shop, online shop.
Yeah. I tell you what, I was so fucking chuffed yesterday. I was watching Bumblebee for the first time with my son.
Oh, great film. So much fun, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like pure cheese, but it's great. It's like And the thing is, like, we was watching it, and he's like, I was like, look, there's Bumblebee, and he's like getting all excited because he's so into his Transformers. All he fucking talks about. Like, he's never been into anything like. I think he's more into it than I was when I was younger. But anyway,
Right.
and Bumblebee talking. I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler here if anyone's not seen it. But
No, I've not seen it, but go ahead.
is that okay?
It's not going to hurt, Dan. There's not many spoilers in that film if you've seen the other Transformers films.
Well, basically, Bumblebee's talking at the beginning, and for those that don't know, Bumblebee doesn't talk. He like talks through his radio, and like he's fighting off against some random Transformer, and he's like, "Where's Optimus Prime?" He's like, "I'll never talk." And he's like, "Let's make it official," and he like rips out his voice box, and then that's the reason why Bumblebee can't talk. And my son was just like, "No!" He couldn't believe it. And he's like, he shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, but it's fun when he's that age and he's so into it.
Yeah. He like generally got proper like on the verge of tears, crying when fucking one of the Transformers died. He really don't like the Decepticons gore,
doesn't he? Oh god.
But he did get very excited when Soundwave came on because he's got Soundwave.
All right. Also with Optimus Prime appearing, I bet you loved that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, everyone loves Optimus Prime. But just think when eventually you show him the Star Wars films.
Well, he's recently got into them. He didn't like them. And I'll tell you why he didn't like them. Because I took him on to go and to go on the Armageddon ride about a year or so ago at Disneyland Paris. And for those that don't know, in the Armageddon ride, all it is like a special effects thing. You sit on, you stand in this big room. You're supposed to be in space. The doors fly off, and like this big flame flows up in the middle, and the whole room shakes and all that sort of stuff. And and he's like, "Daddy, is this real? Is this real?" I went, "No, it's okay. It's okay. Am I going to see Mummy again?" And he got really, really scared and really upset. And for some reason, he thinks Star Wars is that. Until I forced him to go on Star Tours, like literally taking a crying kid onto a ride. I looked like such a great dad. And then when he finally went on it, he became well into Star Wars. But I don't think he knows anything about it except for the fact that they have cool swords.
You see, it depends which you've got the order to show him the films.
Mm-hmm.
Because Star Wars was released in the order of episodes 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, and then 9 this year. So
Exactly.
it depends. Do you want to? Like Phantom Menace, he'd probably really love because it's very kid friendly. He'd really like it with Jar Jar Binks, and that one he'd probably get on really well with. But then it would spoil the great reveal in Empire Strikes Back for him about Darth Vader really being Luke's. Spoilers for anyone who's not seen a nearly 40-year-old film.
I think you'll be all right.
I think we're all right with that one. But it's whether or not you want him to have the that Darth Vader is his father. Because if you watch 1, 2, 3 first, you know Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father.
Yeah. The thing is, I want him to get into Star Wars because I'm not into Star Wars, and I really want to be into Star Wars because every time I go to Disney and whatever else, they're like all about it, and I'm like, I wish I was into this as much as everyone else. And it's like when everyone goes, "We're crazy about a new Zelda," and you're like, "It's all right." And I'm like, I wish I was as hyped up as everyone else was about that new Zelda game. Yeah, that's what I feel like about like Star Wars.
I've got to say, it's probably quite a good way for you to bond as well and get into things. It's something you could really together.
Yeah, I reckon so. I mean, it's like that's definitely what's happening with Transformers because I've tried to get him into things that I was into, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I like Transformers as well as a kid, but I think he really likes Transformers. He spends all days like, "Dad, I've designed a Transformer out of my cutlery and everything." That was something he did today. So that's the thing that we're all about at the moment.
What about your kids, Andrew? Are they into Star Wars as well, or
they're not into they're not really into any sort of movies. They kind of know stuff, so they do like Star Wars, a bit. They really like Ghostbusters. They just like sort of the random kind of stuff I like. And remember today I was saying we were watching the Princess Bride.
Yes.
I've never seen that.
Oh, it's
a great film.
Amazing.
Yeah, I always hear that.
There's a bit that's funny in it because Andrew, you'll know this. My youngest son doesn't like the bit with the big rats.
Oh yeah, the rodents of unusual size.
Yes, because he says, "Oh, there's blood in it," right?
Hmm.
Absolutely no problem though with the sword stabbing.
Oh, Ash has said, please disown your kids if they like Ghostbusters 2016.
Oh, I don't know. They're a bit young. They're a bit young for that. I don't think they'd really
Uh,
even get it, to be honest with you.
There's a good film you should show your kids. I think I've said this one before. That particularly your two, if they like Zelda and stuff, will really like. Called The Kid Who Would Be King.
Oh, I might try to watch that with them tomorrow.
They would
Before I go
love
off.
it because it's about kids who basically a kid finds King Arthur's sword and he becomes a knight, and he has to make all his friends in school like knights of the Round Table and everything.
Oh, that sounds awesome. And Electron Ash says, "Inconceivable! The Grand Nagus!" That is the same guy, right? It has to be.
It is. It's Wallace Shawn. Yeah.
Grand Nagus.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No, but Dan, there's plenty of Star Wars stuff you can get your boy into, and then there's loads of Star Wars cartoon series, and
Oh yeah. I reckon I could. Like, for me, I find it so hard to get into. I mean, I know it's not real. Obviously, I know it's not real, but I mean, it doesn't look real. And I mean, I'm not really a Trekkie either. But I mean, I watch those new Trekkie films, and I'm like, they just look so much better, and everything about them seems better. I mean, it's Star Wars to me, and this is so blasphemous to every man in the world that likes Star Wars, which is pretty much everyone. But it feels a bit like a pantomime.
yeah, you hate pantomime.
I fucking hate them. And I'm like, Darth Vader. I mean, he's not fucking threatening at all. Like I said, I wish I was like into it where I could like, oh my god, isn't it so scary? Darth Vader's on, the guy with the fucking Easter egg plastic mask on. It just doesn't look scary to me. And
you maybe should. To be honest, you might find it easier starting with the original films then, because you see what he is under the helmet and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say just start with the whole,
1 to 7.
the really.
What are you doing on my website?
I'm critiquing it.
Yeah, it needs updating.
Just troll you a bit, see what you
Go
say.
on, how can I improve my website?
No, I'm not going to comment on that. I have so little time to spend on any of the websites I got to deal with. They're all shite. It's hard work, and I know how hard work it is. I think what you've got here looks really good.
I designed it all myself.
Yeah.
Ash says DJ Slope is the love child of Guru Larry and Jerry Clarkson.
I think
the amount of people that say I look like Jeremy, I sound like Jeremy Clarkson is ridiculous.
Go on, Dan. I don't think you've told this lot your story.
What, from over in fucking Norway?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was in Norway recently, someone went, "Oh, hello. Go on, do the voice. I went, what voice? Hello you. No, wrong person. And he just walked away like proper embarrassed. I'm like, for fuck's sake.
One day you're going to be recognised in your own right, Daniel. One day.
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm on camera a lot more now. I don't think I'm Larry Bundy Jr.
Well,
I play on it every so often, to be fair.
I've said this for a while. I think we need to perpetuate the myth that Larry is a character like Tony Clifton with that Andy Kaufman did, where basically he's this fictional, fully fledged character who's played by different people at different times.
Yeah. I get you.
What's the boob one called on Kickstarter?
No, look on YouTube. It's on GoFundMe, but it's
sorry. I love Andrew's Google search. Sorry, Kickstarter 3 boobs.
No, it's on GoFundMe, and her name is Jasmine.
He's found her at the bottom.
Devil.
She's at the bottom of the page on the videos.
That's Jasmine and her family. Her family.
Go to our YouTube channel, Jasmine Tridevil.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that's different.
Oh no, sorry. If you go to our GoFundMe, then it links to our YouTube anyway. So, that's not her.
That's not her.
No, this one I had claimed to be the one that had a third breast implant.
Yeah, that will.
There you go.
But she's got loads to go. She's at like $1,100.
Yeah, no, it's nothing. But if you actually do it, she thanks you.
What do you mean?
She does a video and says, like, Andrew back office, £5. Thank you.
What, she actually says that herself?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I
what's
don't know
gonna
if it's for everyone, but I definitely saw.
Yeah, but what's going
The
to be
last one
funny
was
is
anonymous £12 or something, wasn't it? Yeah, she hasn't had anyone since.
if your video though, once people see it, suddenly finishes her Kickstarter goal or something.
I'm just thinking, I don't see any goals on this one on GoFundMe. So you just it doesn't have
No,
tiers
well,
or anything.
GoFundMe's a lot more for like charitable. You know, you're not, you know, help this person have cancer. Yeah, but what do I get out of it? You know.
Yeah. You'll find on GoFundMe as well, lots of kids going, I want $10,000 or $20,000 so I can build a high-end PC and become a popular Twitch streamer. There's loads of them. It's my dream.
Can anybody comment, or can only people who donated comment?
I think they can alter the settings.
Oh, that's the first. I've just put in Crying, which is a Japanese game called Biohazard Battle. So it's the Japanese name for a game called Biohazard Battle, called Crying. I've just put it in on my Mega Drive or the Mega SG, and it says this cartridge has been developed for use outside of North and South America. It cannot be used with hardware units for sale within these areas.
Wow! And are you playing that in a legit Mega Drive then?
No, I'm playing it on the Mega SG. It's like a emulation thing, so it's fine. I'll change I'll say that it's Japanese now.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Does it just have like a switch or something on it? Yeah.
Costado says, I'm sure the surgeon who's willing to give her a third boob will be totally legit. Yes, he's sure of that. Yeah,
50 grand though, eh?
I bet he's indemnifying himself up the whatever if he's doing something like that.
I don't know. I think if it's in the US, they pretty much just do anything, don't they?
Well, there is that man who had boob implants as part of a bet, didn't he, with his friends?
I might just hit return off screen if that's okay with you.
I would. I wouldn't do this directly on screen until you find.
Oh.
So
I
don't
even know if it's allowed or not, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't in case it can't. I don't know, because it could content match it, couldn't it? Then
I've seen.
So
I tell you what, it reminds me of.
If Andrew streams a pair of actual breasts on live,
it flashed up a little bit there, but it reminds me of like old men on a beach. To be honest with you, do you know what I mean? It's like once you get to like past 80 or something, I think they just always go south anyway. So, what does David Bard said something? It's got the word breasts in it, so I thought of a thing. Here's a thing: birds with breast implants.
Did you go to her? Did you go to her? What are you actually? Oh, you're typing in Mega SG to find it. Did you go to her YouTube channel and actually look at the video that made her famous?
No.
If you go to her GoFundMe, that the video is actually linked.
Oh, 3 boob woman. Sorry, I forgot her name, but I'll find it.
Jasmine Try Devil.
It's this one here. The breast.
And
boobs are real.
D has got the D has got 3 bumps in it, like a pair of 3 boobs.
Oh, I'd have to actually sign in, and I don't want to really add this to my YouTube thing.
You got to confirm your age.
Her middle boob reminds me of a Squidward's nose. I think that means. I'm just going to look at the comments because perhaps that's funny enough. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think it's going to be the problem will be like that guy in Total Recall. Really, he just says he didn't have 3. He wished he had 3 hands.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to do another thing. I just want to Andrew, real quick. I saw something that looked like a smoked watermelon. What's all that about? It looked yummy.
Oh, don't! It's friggin' vile.
It looks
basically
like
take watermelon. Yeah, but it isn't. It's apparently absolutely awful. It's watermelon. You can smoke it, but what you're ultimately doing is you're slightly dehydrating it.
Okay.
You can smoke it, but it's not very good.
I think it's Commander Doggo says we went from Atari ST PCB design to 3 boobs. We may have gone off track, but what I've done is, I've submitted all of my designs now for quote, so I feel I've done my part. Oh, that watermelon ham. It does look. Yeah.
What are you looking up? Because I'm playing a game, and every so often I look over and like, hang on, what is he looking up?
That does look horrible. Is that a
Oh.
chicken put into a watermelon? A watermelon shell.
That's very ingenious at the same time.
Because it like you'd
Oh,
steam
it
it.
works.
Oh no, you can do that. So that's actually a proper way of cooking it, where you can put chicken inside.
It looks like a bloody alien.
It's all right. I've just found a really weird thing on Kickstarter. The Pom Pom Floats pink coffin. Basically, it's an inflatable coffin to go sit in the pool with, and it's got a lid.
And who?
Wow.
What about this, Andrew? Have you seen this? We've got to do this.
Oh, I've seen that, the face hugger thing. Yeah.
It looks horrendously realistic.
Whoa, game over. I tell you what, Crying for the Mega Drive is a good game.
Crying. Have to give that a go. My son was playing something on the that machine earlier, and it looked awesome. It looked like some sort of weird anime manga game where you can play these flying characters, and it's just basically a shoot 'em up. And you're fighting all these mecha robots and stuff. I'll try to get the name of it, but it's very unusual to see like an R-type game where you're playing a character that's not a robot.
Hmm.
I'm feeling quite hungry now.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a bit peckish. I am peckish. I want some food.
I'm waiting for my delivery. It'll be a while, but I'm going to send you this later down. I've got a Kickstarter scammer I sent you a while ago to keep an eye on, and it has become one.
I love it. Yeah, I'm happy with how that went. The the Kick Scammer news segment thing.
I know it's good. It's good with you being on camera.
I need to carry it on. I've got a lot of good feedback in the Shitty Kickstarters subreddit.
Well, that's the main thing.
Yeah. One guy said, please stop posting your stuff. And then everyone just batted onto him like, he hasn't posted his stuff for 262 days, because you can see the last time I posted something. No, I don't know what the fucking guy was on about.
Nah, you get people just wankers.
Yes, they are.
You do. You get people who just fucking like, I don't want you to do this.
I want to know, because Electronash mentioned Kick Silicon Valley. Where are we with that? Because I feel I haven't watched it forever, and
I couldn't get into it.
Oh, I love it. It's like real life.
So what are we talking about?
The TV show Silicon Valley.
Maybe it's too close to real life, which is why I struggle with it.
I promise you, I think I've seen every character in Silicon Valley, and I've seen everything that they do and everything they've happened and everything that happens in it in real life. So I think it's spot on. I think that's why it does well, because I don't know. What do you think in the chat? Anybody who's watched Silicon Valley, have you experienced any of the things in the show in real life?
I have not.
The last time I watched it, though, I think that season 6. I mean, there was a new season that I didn't watch, and it seemed like the young Asian chap who was always just sort of quiet and milling around in the house, the accelerator or incubator, seemed to own it. That was the season that I didn't watch. Halt and Catch Fire is amazing. I love that, and it's like the story of Compaq.
Yes.
And it's evolved, hasn't it? Because it kind of went in a little bit like Apple. So it's obviously just taking all of the different real companies and sort of twisting them into it.
Whoa. Shit.
Pied Piper. What a lame name, though.
Shit. Did anyone watch Ravi Rabbit's Retro Ravi's DJ set tonight?
When is
No,
that?
I missed it. No,
It's already
missed
been.
it.
He's rocking the Slopes game room hat.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Fuck.
Will you have some of them for Blackpool for sale, Dan?
I reckon I probably could get some. Yeah.
It's all
Yeah,
about the merch now.
I think Gary wants one of your hats. To be honest, that one he was
I
wearing.
know, he does.
He absolutely loves it.
He wanted, yeah, he's got it in his profile picture, isn't he? I might send him one.
Yeah.
I think I might have to do that. Purposely lose out on a sale because I think he needs it. I think he needs it sooner.
The problem is he won't take it off, and everyone will think he's Slopes.
How do I get your merch?
Then everyone will think he's Larry.
Okay, 2 secs, guys.
Pork Scratchings t-shirt, nice.
Oh, actually, that's my old t-shirt shop. I really should close that down.
Are you on?
I've got a proper
T-
sponsor. Yeah, my hat's on playeroneclothing.com.
playeroneclothing.com.
I have to keep pulling out the games because I don't know what they are because it's all in Japanese. Because I've just got a big bundle of them, and I've put them in alphabetical order, but I can't remember what they are.
There were some games as well. If depending on the region, you get different stuff going on them, don't you?
Ever so slightly. I can't think of any examples, but yeah, that is a true thing that you have said.
Oh, look at that! That's so funny though. I put in DJ Slopes merch, right, and it's just come up with random stuff. But look at the 2 videos.
Look at this.
One of mine and one of Neil's. Weird, isn't it? How does?
Do you know down on your previous searches? On
No, because I'm in incognito. Look, I'm in incognito.
Ah, well, there you fucking go.
What does that? I don't even know what that means. What's the relevance? It means that your SEO is not working very well, I guess. There you go. There's a few.
Time for some ghouls and ghosts. Oh, how do you say this? Daimakarum? No, Daimacamia. Muria. That's the Japanese name for it.
What was the Ghosts and Goblins a sequel for that, right?
It's the same game.
Is Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts the same game? No way, really?
Oh, well, Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts. No. One, I believe, is the arcade original, and then whatever way around it is, the other one was the one when they started porting it.
No way.
I think that's it. I should know. I've done a fucking complete history. And look, there you go. You was typing it in, and there was my video in that previous screen. Oh.
There's your video, but it's right next to Cinemassacre's video, so I'm more likely to click them at that one.
It's fine. Cinematica, that's not someone I'm ever going to win against, is it? Let's be honest.
You know what, though? I'm loving GameSack, and I know that since, is it Dave left or whatever, I was going to be, is it going to be the same? But it's still rocking.
I think GameSack's awesome. It's one of the few people in the retro community that I've actually watched before being a YouTuber that I've actually not ever spoken to. But he seems like a genuinely all right guy.
But don't you think it's criminally unsubscribed, like non-subscribed for what it is? It's only like at 218.
Yes and no. I know from YouTube how many videos you need to put out to become like as in popular as in an amount of subs, and they don't put out enough. If they were able to put out weekly videos, then yes, they would be criminally undersubbed. But they do not.
Oh, do you think before it? Oh, right, because that would be the issue. But I think they are coming out quite frequently now on the new format. So
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing against him. I mean, he's obviously choosing quality over quantity, which is good. And I believe the man does have a job outside of YouTube. So
who's that?
GameSack.
GameSack.
Ah, okay.
I think it's tricky, yeah.
So I came to the realization today, it doesn't happen often. I'm probably not going to get my video out tomorrow.
Oh, you're going to lose your subs. You better hurry up.
Yeah. And then what do? In the worry of all that, I play some Ghouls and Ghosts.
Well, you got to relax at some point. Can't be productive all the time.
Yeah, don't burn yourself out.
No, absolutely. And I'm really enjoying. I'm really enjoying my my next complete history I'm working on.
Okay, guys. I suppose I better go do something. Go to bed. Got a pack flying tomorrow. So
where are you going? Where are you going tomorrow?
I'm going to Munich.
München.
Munchen. Yeah, Munchen.
Yeah, we can go to McDonald's in Germany and have a McRib any time of year.
I'm literally going and then coming back immediately
Mhm.
next day. So I don't know if I will have time to enjoy a McRib, but I will probably try to grab hold of a greasy pretzel because I quite like those, the old salty pretzel.
Oh,
But what's weird, when you go to the menu sometimes on those places, it's like a pretzel and a fag. You know what I mean? Or, cigarette. Which you don't get that kind of thing in a cafe here.
No, but you can get a beer in McDonald's in Germany.
Yeah, but you don't get a beer and a cigar.
No, that's true.
we're getting dangerously close to the beginning of Pulp Fiction here, aren't we?
Auf Wiederschnitzel.
Royale with cheese.
That's right.
One of us had to say it. Best film ever.
So Castado's unsubbed, of course, as well. The other thing, guys, that video I was going to make for tomorrow, because now I've gone down from 3 videos a week to barely 1 video a week, it seems, just because I've gone on to subjects which now I cannot do in, like a couple hours. I think Daniel, your videos are always scripted and stuff like that, so you kind of know how long it's going to take. And how long it's going to take you to write
Yeah,
it.
look, the way it works with me. Oh, you're right. Oh, very nice. The way it works with me is the complete histories tend to take longer. They don't pull in the numbers. That looks very nice. Let's have a look. Amazing. Well
I
done.
like it. I was going to put spindles, but I think it's too much and I'm shattered.
Yeah, you're fine. It's fine. Really well done. Congrats. Sorry, my wife was holding a cake
Lovely.
that I needed to approve.
Hold the cake and get Buddy out.
It's okay. Oh, fucking hell. Sorry, I'm live, actually, Joanne.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Um, give me the cake. Give me the
I
cake.
want cake now.
I want cake.
Can we have a bit of cake?
Sorry, we've got a cat that's not allowed in this room because I've got the window open. And
trying to escape.
And oh my god. Yes, sorry. The Kick Scammer videos don't take very long, but the complete histories do. So if I'm working on the complete history and I'm running out of time, I'll normally get a Kick Scammer out because I've always got several videos I'm working on. So even though the Kick Scammers make me the most, cheers, thank you. Make me the most in subs and views and all that sort of stuff. The complete history ones, normally when I'm working on a big complete history, because I normally chuck out 1 or 2 Kick Scammers just to try and hold it back a bit, there you go. That's how I work with my scripts, at least.
Well, I've got one where if I start, so normally it was quite predictable if I'm going to do a electronics video, but some of the things I've done are like really challenging. But the problem is if you've got a problem with electronics and you need to order parts or do something, you might just instantly add a month.
Yeah. Well, especially considering you can't go to Maplin anymore.
You can't go to Maplin, but what means you have to kind of try to do this shift in your brain where you pick everything up, put it in a box, and put the SD card. You know what I mean? Keep the footage you've got safe because you're going to have to come back to it. And then sometimes I find it really like I can't face it. I'm going to show you. Let's have a quick look I've got a folder of all those sorts of projects. And you just can't face editing it because instead of getting like maybe 4 or 5 videos that you've got to splice and top and tail and do all of that, you end up with like 30 clips, which I know is tiny compared to what you got to deal with, but it's.
Honestly, my videos are made up on the spot. I make as in editing wise, not so much now that I've started adding in like me on camera, but genuinely they're like made up on the spot.
Oh, I'm just looking. I've got two videos I could do. I've got the Retro Future knockoff Game Boy cartridge. I don't think I finished that though.
Okay, my friends, I have to tell you.
What website are you on with all these T-shirts?
So I just say, does that one say thanks for watching? Yeah, that's an end of that video. I'll have a look now what that was. It's called Screenwave, I think. It just seems to be all of the YouTuber T-shirts. Oh, there's another video that I haven't shown you guys. The infamous mini block game. Yeah. So, what I was looking for though, I was wondering. One of my favorite channels is Because Science, and I can't remember this guy's name, Kyle something. He is absolutely rocking it. They must be making a mint, this sort of nerdist group.
I'll tell you what I've really got hooked on. Paolo from Tokyo.
How Low from Tokyo? Don't know what that is.
He's this American guy who lives in Tokyo, and he just does literally like little videos about life in Tokyo, but it's like a day in the life of like a car salesman in Tokyo, and it'll like be shows them getting up in the morning out of bed and what they do in the office and everything. And it's just like you're watching.
I totally saw that. I don't think I've watched the video, but I totally know. I saw that. I must have got the same like suggestion at least, you know.
Yeah. Oh, you watch it. You put it on. You watch it, and you're like, oh, it's really good, and it's just so it's really well done by him. But it's just like it's like something you'd watch in school.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this thing though. What is Nerdist? Does anybody know what Nerdist is? Is this an MC?
Yes, Nerdist. No, Nerdist was started by Chris Hardwick, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like his kind of podcasting geek company, wasn't it? And he sold it on.
Yeah, it's essentially one of those the hot chicks that used to do the IGN like news fix things that used to get like random news segments about gaming and whatever. She went off and is one of the main people at Nerdist now. It's basically a better IGN in a sense.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. So his channel's good. Like one best I've seen on YouTube. But he's also the science editor for Nerdist. So Nerdist, obviously, they must publish. They publish articles and stuff, do they?
Yeah. They've got like he said Facebook groups and God knows whatever else, and podcasts, everything. Gaming, tech, movies, all that good stuff.
It's a bit like Unilad, but they generate their own content instead of stealing it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think though. There is a UK. Oh my gosh, I know the chaps. Oh, they used to do like I think was it originally started in the US and it had all those videos that were done using Halo. You know where people were making videos.
Red versus Blue.
Who did
They've got a company called Rooster Teeth.
versus Blue?
Mm-hmm. But I think Rooster Teeth went when one of their owners shut them down. They got bought by like a TV company, and then
That's what you want, though. You
I've
want the
never
network.
been interested in, It's a different world.
Yeah.
They know how to do it properly in the US, though. That's all. They get the infrastructure up for all of this stuff.
Yeah. But no, we got some quality UK YouTubers anyway. Because just saw Dan the Excellent Expedition Theme Parks put another video up.
Oh, that's always good. Never a bad thing.
I need to get one of your hats anyway for me to wear in Disney World because he's going to be there when I'm there. He's going to be there when I'm there. And I said, "Oh, I'll wear a Slopes hat." And he said, "Oh, say hello to you."
Oh, guys, sorry to just interrupt. The YouTube type talk I think is boring people a little bit. They want to just go on. Oh yeah, lockpicking lawyer Costado. I recommend him too. They want to go on. They were asking, is it Piles time? And a lot of when's the Piles talk coming in?
I thought you were going to say we're going to get back onto the free-breasted woman.
The free-breasted woman. I have to say, guys, I don't want to really disappoint you, but I have not had Piles since. It just hasn't happened. Do you know?
No.
I don't know how to
You're
encourage
brave
them.
talking about it.
Oh, well, we had it that once where I thought my life was ending, but it was all right. Went away in a couple of days.
It was that point in life where you realise I've actually had a hemorrhoid.
And then everybody in the chat, loads of people are like, I didn't realise this, but if you go into sort of running Facebook groups or gym ones, everybody middle aged, a lot of people in that thing just seem to have them all the time, and it's a way of life, guys, a way of life. That could be it, Bazza. Plenty of roughage. Maybe that's what it is. Less stress on the old bog. Scrot rot. You've had scrot rot for a while, Electronash. How did you get scrot rot? Are you a player? You must be. I don't think you can get it on your own, can you? Well, no. I'm sure some people can.
Galloping cock rot, you mean?
galloping cock rot, not enough baths, or maybe
Mm.
you're having too many baths with too much of that. Oh, you know what I imagine, Andrew, could happen. You know, we were
What?
talking about bromine and all of that in the old
Mhm.
hot tub. I
Yeah.
reckon having a Lush bath bomb is probably worse. Do you know what I mean? Those things you get from Lush.
I've seen people die walking within 6 feet of a branch of lush because they're being overpowered by the smell.
I don't think I can go past it without getting a rash. Frankly, I think I'm just allergic to Lush now. It's horrible. Lush
is
horrible.
bloody awful. Honestly, I bet you in your local town, Dan, wherever your Lush is, I bet you can smell it within about 20 meters of the fucking branch.
What
Well,
the hell?
I tell you what, I don't like the smell of even more than Lush shops.
Yeah.
Is incense sticks. I had to order some incense sticks for this thing that a company sent me recently. Which doesn't sound like anything on my channel, but it's true. But basically, I wasn't sure if I needed incense sticks or incense cones. I've never even realised full cones was a thing, but yeah, apparently it is. Either way, I got the sticks, and I opened up the package. It was like, fuck me, that's powerful. Oh my god, it smells so strong. It literally smells like someone's just rammed like soap up my nostril.
Ash, I know it sounds really strange. Get talcum powder for your bollocks, mate.
No. I've got better things than that.
Hmm?
There's better stuff than that. Hang on. Boric acid.
Pardon? I am not putting anything with the word acid near my
trust me.
bollocks.
Boric acid. Let me just check. Let me just check I'm getting it right. I do buy some of this stuff, and I want to make sure. Yeah, it's boric acid. Get the boric acid as powder rather than crystals, and just dash it over your stuff.
Sounds incredibly similar to bollock acid.
Boric acid, and if you think about it, look, you can actually put it in as a vaginal douche, so that's inside your body. So I think you won't have a problem with it. So get your boric acid. It sounds like it because it's good. You'll buy this off eBay or Amazon at 99%, like medical grade. And it will literally be like a kilo of it for £1. Whereas if you go and get your knob rot Caniston or something, it'll be literally 10 quid for like a milligram of it. Trust me, and you'll dash this on. I think it's got the same toxicity as it's a little bit toxic if you don't eat it, but I think it's kind of similar to sort of table salt. So you'd probably have to ingest a ridiculous amount to just sort of do you some serious harm. But yeah, do your own infection if you want, your own research if you want. But I use this on my feet for running. If I got a sore ear, I'll mix up some
water.
water.
Put it on your bollocks?
Every now and then I'll put a little bit of dusting on there. If I think I'm going to be on an aeroplane for like 10 hours, I'll just put a little bit in there, put a bit on the socks, put a bit on the shoes. No problems. You just come out. It's like you've just got out of the bath. Do you know what I mean? Fresh. You'll stay fresh all day. So yeah, give that a go. That's going to sort you out.
Are you a qualified doctor?
I'm qualified. I'm not a qualified medical doctor. But
you are a genuine doctor.
I am, yeah. And I know how to do my research on this stuff, and I've been using this for probably about 3-4 years. So, and also, if you want a good remedy for the gross-looking nails, if you've got fungal nail infection, I had a nail that was starting to look a bit weird. They get a bit yellow. I was like, there's something wrong with that. So what I put on it was a drop of tea tree oil twice a day, one in the morning, one after you wash, you shower, your bath, whatever, and then one in the evening again if you wash again. And after a month, that just went away. Bang, got rid of it. So tea tree oil, boric acid, they're the only two things you need. And for boric acid, if you do have thrush, because I remember reading about this too, you can buy the gelatine capsules and make your own, fill it full of this stuff and shove it up you if you're a lady.
Lovely.
So there you go. I feel I've done my public service now. Public service. I'm going to go on eBay. Let's get some. Let's have a look. Boric acid. You get this thing where it'll be in the paper. Self-proclaimed YouTube doctor prescribes incorrect thing, killing 4 people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, they sell it for killing ants and cockroaches too. So they don't like it up.
That stops the ants and the cockroaches climbing all over your bollocks.
Yeah, that's true. But look at that, 2 kilos for 14 quid. Go and find out how much 2 kilos of Caniston. I'm going to do the research for you. Don't you worry. Going to go on eBay. Let's get the. I'm going to buy eBay Caniston, which is definitely where you don't want to buy it. But okay. Caniston cream. Clotrimazole. I'm going to go generic. 20 grams for £3.95. So £3.95 times, what is it, 100 to get you the 2 kilos?
And it's got an applicator.
And that will be, what, £395 weight for weight. I'd go for the 14 quid boric acid, guys, but it's up to you. I don't know. This is just the cream. It doesn't have the pessary nor the applicator, so you'll have to do your own digging for that.
No, what you want to do is get yourself to Mexico, because you can go literally into Spa and you can buy prescription medication just over the counter. I mean, isn't India much the same, Andrew?
Just over the counter medicines, yeah, they're just pretty cheap.
You can buy opiates and stuff just over the counter in Mexico. Buy any antibiotics, anything you want. You just walk into literally like a spa shop.
Really?
And they've got whatever. Yeah.
By the way, yeah, the question in the chat, yeah, you kind of want powder, because I did misorder and end up with like 3 kilos of the salt, and that's not as nice to use. But apparently, if you have a NutriBullet, you can always grind the salt into a powder. But I've not tried it yet. Have you got a NutriBullet, Mr. Dalton? It sounds like something you'd have.
No, I've got a Nutri-Ninja.
Same thing though, isn't it?
No, the Ninja's got a much bigger motor on the base of it.
Yeah, but same shit. You know,
Yeah, same thing.
Something you buy and then use it twice and shove it in the cupboard.
No, I use it quite a bit actually.
Do you? What do you blend in it?
I've got a spice grinder attachment for it.
Okay.
So.
Oh, it's I quite like that. Look, he's got. It looks like a kale or something with pineapple. But look how much pineapple he's got in there. That would be quite nice.
It's very, very powerful.
I wouldn't bother with the old green stuff though, to be honest. It's just ruining it.
I tell you what though, you have to get when you make some of the smoothies. I've made some in the past and it's like drinking vomit.
There'll be none of that nonsense in Norbreck.
What, no vomit drinking?
No smoothies. They don't have that. Oh, well, Electron Ash.
I think I'm almost nostalgia nerd vegan now when I go to these like conventions and things. I just feel so much better when I'm not chugging. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but mate, you've got to get in a state this time because it's our last time in the Norbreck.
Okay, then you convince me.
And the thing of the price of the beer in the Norbreck as
well. Oh, it's unbelievable, isn't it? The price of a round there. It's like you have to query it because it's just so low.
Mm.
Yeah. How much? What is this cup with?
Yeah, it's literally like 180 a pint or something stupid. £2.05 a pint. It's ridiculous. It's like retro hotel with retro prices.
So I am about to play a game called Arrow Flash. Anyone ever played Arrow Flash?
Not knowingly.
Nope.
I got it on a bundle. It's one that I want to give away because it hasn't come with a manual. Quite funny about having to keep games with manuals. And everyone's like, "Oh my god, you got Arrow Flash!" As if like that's the big deal. See if this is any good. Sorry, continue.
That's all right. I was just noticing that there's a 3D Ghosts and Goblins game for the PSP.
It's fucking awesome. Ultimate Ghouls and Ghosts, or Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go up and see my now wife, then girlfriend, up at uni like every few weeks or whatever. And yeah, I used to play. I completely completed that on several train journeys.
I wonder if it's on that machine, on that. Remember the ROM image thing I was telling you about earlier, which seemed to have everything. I might check that out.
No, perfect.
Oh, you know what I'm really into though? Getting back into Castlevania.
Oh yeah, you're going to be obtaining Bloodstained.
I don't know. Is that a new Castlevania? Clearly, it is that I'm unaware of.
So Bloodstained is the. Whoa, that looks good. What's Bloodstained? Bloodstained's the guy who made Castlevania. Always wanted to make Castlevania. Konami said no, so he basically went off and made a spiritual successor on Kickstarter, and it's come out, and everyone fucking loved it. The Switch is slightly less good, but I've got that version, and I haven't found anything wrong with it.
If I get it, it'll probably be on the Switch. Is this tentacled spider beast boob monster in it? It seems to be.
Sorry, I'm not to be a bad stream. I'm not actually watching your stream anymore.
No, that's fine.
Oh yes, she is actually. I fought her. Yes.
Yeah, I might give this a go. It turns out something Daniel might show you some pictures of later, that my brother has secretly been building the ultimate Castlevania collection, and his aim was to obtain every single copy of Castlevania in every single format.
That's absurd.
So he's got a lot, and he said he reckons he's nearly there. And then I said, well, do you have the Tiger ones? I threw in a few like curveballs, and he's really annoyed at me because, when someone doesn't think they're part of the canon, as it were, so I don't need to collect those because they're not real things. But then once they hear it from somebody else, it kind of makes it as if they have to now.
I've played a fair few Castlevania games, but I've only ever completed one, maybe, which was Symphony of the Night, which is fucking brilliant. Like, that game deserves all the praise it gets. Very, very good.
I'm playing one. It might be Rondo of Blood. I'm playing one on the DS right now. I don't know if it's 3DS or DS. I don't think it is Rondo of Blood. It's one where you're it's like you've got two characters in it, and you've got like these little puzzles. So you swap them out as you're playing through, and it's got a really amazing dynamic. I think it was one of the DS ones. But yeah, if you ever Dawn, what's this one? Yeah, this Dawn of Sorrow maybe, or Portrait of Ruin. It's like this the few that they released on DS, but they play totally I think kind of uniquely, which gives them a bit more element, a bit more puzzler. But yeah, really they're good games though. It's a nice franchise, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good game. Good games. They're long-standing as well. A lot of games, I think, when you go back and play them, you realise that there isn't much to this, but they are good.
I think, but I don't know if you feel this. I think that people always sort of bitch a little bit about Nintendo and stuff because, although Castlevania is not necessarily a Nintendo IP, but they always go about like Metroid, Super Mario, all these games being the same, Mega Man, all that. But it's like, yeah, I want them to be the same. I just want more of the same. Do you know what I mean? Maybe there's a few little twists, but essentially, I want it to be the KFC or the McDonald's of gaming.
Yeah. I do like me some KFC. And on that note, I'm fucking hungry, and I'm going to go downstairs and watch this. You're
all right. Anyway, I think everybody, thanks for joining the stream. I think we've gone on long enough, and we've done our knob rot talk. So you got what you wanted, you baying bastards.
Yeah.
That's what happens when I join.
There you go. So we'll see you in the Discord and speak to you soon. Bye bye.
Cheers, guys.